Yes. Hello, my beautiful friends. What an amazing day it is. Happy birthday, America. Thank you for joining us as we celebrate the big 250. It is a lovely Independence Day, baby. And we're happy to be here with you to celebrate and ring it in. We've got some updates on how America is celebrating around the country today. And we've also got some other business to attend to because, as we know, in the Declaration of Independence, there was a list of grievances, and we've got a couple of those to deal with today. We've got Mamdani, who is not sharing and celebrating the same way that we are, going through in a briefing and a little speech articulating the things that he is not too happy about. And so we've got some reaction to his speech from people in Congress who say maybe it's now time to denaturalize and deport. And we'll take a look once again at the immigration form N-400 to show why you have to be a person of good moral character to come into the United States. And when you sign a document attesting to certain facts, those are binding. You make those commitments under oath. And if you are somebody who violated those written documents, maybe you should be fuera on out of here. We've also got a big win out of another court in Massachusetts. A lower level Biden judge did not like one of Trump's executive orders and then forgot some of the separation of powers issues that exist in our beautiful Constitution that we're cherishing and celebrating today. And she just got slapped down, and a victory for the DOJ is upon us. And then, of course, we really want to hear from you, see what you have to say about this, see how you're celebrating, see what you love about America, and get into the celebration. It's going to be a rowdy night. We know that there's going to be fireworks all over the country. There are flyovers all over the place. And we didn't have to wait until today to get started. In fact, yesterday, we had Texas kick things off with some beautiful drone formations in the air. And here is what it looked like out there in Texas last night with some very patriotic music to kick things off. Yeah, baby. Look at that beautiful American bald eagle flying high in the sky out there in Texas. Heck yeah. So that's just one image there. We've also got a bunch more. You can see last night they had America walking on the moon, shaking hands with other Americans, since we also have the American flag up there planted proudly and bravely for the entire world to see. We've got more exploration of space. We've got American aircraft, which we invented, by the way. Thank you, the Wright brothers. And we got George Washington himself, the first president of America. Of course, is an amazing dude, and we're very grateful for him. And we're very appreciative that we had him there as number one. So it was an amazing night last night. You can see America 250 being celebrated out there in Texas via drones. And then also last night, we had the president make his way over to Mount Rushmore. And some people are noticing that there's, some room over here on the mountain. Right there in the rock, it almost looks like Trump anyways. It almost looks like his hair has already been carved out by Mother Nature, just pleading with us to add another president up onto the monument. So Air Force One made its way through, and the president gave a burner of a speech last night. Here's what it sounded like when they were watching the new Air Force One fly overhead. Yeah, America. Heck yeah. And so president makes his way in behind some of the best presidents in American history and then landed and gave a burner of a speech. We've got a couple of clips too here, and there's another flyby over the mountain. God bless America. And so it was a beautiful scene last night, and they were partying hard up there all evening long. And we saw that they were ringing in July 4th, even over the midnight hour. We stayed up and celebrated the birthday of America for Big 250. So it was a beautiful scene out there. And then the president came out, and as he was speaking right out Mount Rushmore, and we've got a bunch of additional clips of the president because he came out pretty hard against the communists last night. But he was also saying that he was waiting for this as a beautiful purveyor of American peace and justice flew right overhead.
Well, thank you very much to the men and women of the South Dakota Air National Guard and those beautiful F-35s. We love them, and I want to thank you all for being here. This is a big crowd. This is a lovely crowd, and what a sight it is. I want to thank Senate Majority Leader John Thune, a good friend of mine, and all of us. Senator Mike Rounds, great guy. Governor Larry Roden, thank you, Larry. Lieutenant Governor Van Huysen. Oh, they're good. I was waiting for that. Well, thank you very much.
Sounds like freedom flying through the air. So he was out last night and he gave a great speech. We've got some other clips of this because he really came out hard against the communists who actually don't like America, and they're trying to revert it into something that it isn't. So he also posted this. White House shared a bunch of clips. We're celebrating the big 250 and freedom, man. There is nothing like it. Here's the president.
Tonight, we gather on the eve of one of the most extraordinary days in the history of the world. Tomorrow, we mark 250 years of glorious independence and 250 years of majestic American freedom. Nothing like it.
Nope.
In all the chronicles of the ages, never before has any nation celebrated so magnificent a triumph as this one, the one that we are participating in right now. At 250 years, America is the oldest republic on earth. We are the freest people on earth. We have the most righteous and enduring constitution on earth. We are the strongest and most powerful country on earth. And by the grace of God, the United States of America is the most successful, most accomplished, most exceptional nation ever to exist in human history. And it is great to be your president.
Heck yeah. And we're just warming up, baby. We got a lot of runway left on the game field with the president, and so more will be coming soon, no doubt about it. And the fireworks last night were on fire, popping through the air all night long. And here's a little taste of that. If you missed it, you can see right behind Mount Rushmore, they had lights and fireworks and flares and sparklers, the big kind. And here's what it looked like. And we're killing some of the music because our YouTube censors don't like it. But you could see that, man. And they were celebrating all night long. It was a beautiful sight. Went on for quite some time. And it was a glorious thing to see. And other nations around the world were celebrating too. Our friends in Japan had some things to say about it. I think in other places in Europe, they were also doing the same. It's a glorious day. 250 is a big one. And we're very proud of everything that we've accomplished here. Now, that was going on all night long. Here's a little bit more from poking fun at our friends in Europe. And Merriam-Webster's dictionary came out and they asked this question to our friends in the UK. Two UK friends on this 250th birthday of the Declaration of Independence from you guys. Why is it canceled with two L's in the UK? Little 4th of July joke, but only canceled with one L in the United States. Any guesses? Because we gave them that L in 1776. Boom! Yeah, punks. And so shout out to our friends in the UK. I saw a post from Piers Morgan saying that their country's better or something, which is ridiculous. But this was a fun joke, and shout out to our friends in the UK. So it was a fun night last night and a lot of people celebrating. And we had some other people on the other side of the aisle who had a different interpretation of what this beautiful year means and what this history of our country should be according to their perverted, disgusting ideology. And so one of those people was Mamdani. And we've got a little story on this one. Major backlash against the pseudo-communist called Mamdani in New York. He came out and gave an America 250 speech, and in the speech, really kind of trashed the country. And that caught the eye of a lot of people around the country, including Congress. One guy called Chip Roy responding to his little video that he released, he says, denaturalize and deport, because when Mamdani is talking about America, he doesn't share the same values that the rest of us have. Of course, he just became a citizen not long ago, and we've got questions about his truth and accuracy on his immigration forms and whether or not he was honest about the fact that he was a communist. And there are some other consequences of perhaps lying on your immigration form, which is to denaturalize that person and then to deport them. And so C-SPAN gave us a summary. Mamdani came out. We're not going to listen to him. He said, we are told that America is exceptional because we are richer and stronger and more powerful than everyone else. Is that right? Is that what we're taught? That we're richer? That's why our country is better? That we have a bunch of money? So those are our values. That's what makes us strong. That's what makes us incredible. Or is it something more like freedom and opportunity and the ability to manifest your own destiny in the country? This charter of negative liberties where the government cannot solve all the problems for you and act as the steward of the entire nation and the entire planet. Those are really the values that we're brought up on. Things like free speech and the Second Amendment and due process of law and equal protection and rights to privacy. And of course, freedom to do all of those things and to live our lives. Not about being rich, not about being stronger. There were many times in American history when we were not richer, when we were not stronger, when we were not more powerful than everybody else, but we were still America. But these communists come in, and he says also that my friends in America, the truth, my friends, is that America is exceptional because here nothing is fixed into place. And even many of those values that we just listed there, according to him and their people, are subject to change. So one congressman says denaturalize and deport, and we've got the immigration form queued up here just to show you what we think he probably lied on that's worth an investigation. But in addition to that, the @America account quoted some of his other speech, and he said that he attacked our nation as an arena of supremacy that persecutes people, and he claimed that ICE is invading our streets in the middle of his speech. And what was so ridiculous about this is that they actually brought out some other people who were standing here looking just miserable behind his speech. So he gave this talk, and behind him, you can see they zoom out, and they have a group, I guess, of immigrants or somebody. I don't know exactly who they are, but they look miserable. This entire time he's given this speech, they give him a little flag, and they just say, look like you hate this country, but we have to give you a flag so that we can LARP you in as Americans. And I don't know, maybe some of them are good people. I doubt it based on their proximity to Mamdani. But the idea that you just come here and you get a slip of paper because our stupid bureaucracy hands out citizenship to people who are not actually Americans. In fact, they're not Americans until, according to them, they get that slip of paper. Then they come in and they lecture us about how our country actually should be run and what it actually means. And one guy who actually did this, which I don't think I queued up because I was so outraged about it, is this guy called Mehdi Hassan. And I'm sure you know who he is, but he, Mehdi, what's his last name? Let me grab this. Do I even follow this dude? Anyways, I'll see if I can grab this real quick. Mehdi, how am I spelling this right? Yeah, this guy, Mehdi Hassan. And I don't even follow him, but he said something like this. Let me see if I can grab it for you. And apologies, I thought I had this. Well, I'll come back to it when we're watching some other videos, but he said something to the effect in his little post that, yeah, he just got here like 5 minutes ago, and he's going to tell us what the American Constitution means. And this is something that we've seen for a very long time with other federal judges in our judiciary, where they explicitly are not citizens. They're dual citizens, in fact. They come here, and then they suddenly go against the president because they don't like his policies. We'll come back to that. But in this entire speech from Mamdani, we had these people here who just look miserable. And Kate Hyde over on X said, I have never once made these faces on the 4th of July. Everybody else is celebrating, but these people just look miserable. They're like, oh gosh, this place sucks. It's like, okay, well, you don't have to be here. You can go home. You don't have to come here into America and exploit our graciousness of having you in here. And Stephen Miller had a comment about it. He said, okay, guys, like quoting, so here's the deal. We're going to give you these little flags to hold, but we're also conveying a message that the country you just became a part of is an enormous piece of crap. And so we're going to need you not to smile while Mayor Allahu Akbar is talking, from Stephen Miller, which I thought was a very nice summary on this. But Marsha Blackburn also said, it doesn't get more disgraceful than this. She's a senator from Tennessee, saying the mayor came out, uses America's 250th anniversary to bash our country and to discredit the American dream, calling this shameful, condemning America the day before America's birthday is a new low, even for Democrats. And Fox News had a quote from him where Mamdani was accusing the U.S. of allowing children to starve, while billionaires and oligarchs, sounding like Bernie Sanders, are now going to be gaining more power. In his speech, he said America's wealth was built by working people with calloused, dirt-streaked hands, which I don't think he had any part in at all. He just got here 5 minutes ago, accusing the country of allowing the wealth built by the workers to be concentrated in the soft hands of a precious few, which is literally him. What were his jobs before he became a communist and ran for office? So once again, you can see, I don't think they even brought a single white male out there, which is very racist and discriminatory against that group of people, but they're perfectly acceptable making those arguments for their side that, diversity, equity, inclusivity is appropriate, unless it's a white dude. Maybe that guy's a white dude, but who knows? But anyways, they look friggin' miserable, and this is what the Democratic Party is elevating. We just had more DSA, Democrat Socialist of America, which is just a euphemism for communism. They're not actually socialist. This isn't some slight modification of the American system that should be given legitimacy and validity, because it's not exactly communism, it's socialism. It's a euphemism for communism, and communism really creates an oligarchical class. And you can understand very clearly that Mamdani is a communist when he starts to use phrases like from each according to their ability to each according to their needs, and so on and so forth, which we've heard from him many times over. So Mike Lee, also a senator on this concept about denaturalizing and deporting, said, is this a good idea? In 1954, when we had communists everywhere, Dwight Eisenhower proposed stripping convicted communists of their U.S. citizenship, which is a very interesting idea. Now, that might go a little bit too far, but how about the people who are just naturalized? What if you're a natural born citizen, you turn to communism, do you want to strip that person's citizenship? I don't know if there's a strong basis for that. But when it comes to naturalized people, when it comes to Ilhan, when it comes to Mamdani, when it comes to many others who come in saying, oh yeah, no, I'm an American, let me wave my flag around. And then suddenly, once they come in, they get power and the true nature of their ideology comes out. Maybe for those people, it is well worth it. And the reason for that is because we have a form. We have a form for an application for naturalization that these people fill out. We'll come back to this, but in this document, in one key section, it asks specifically and explicitly whether or not you are a communist. And we'll come back to that in a moment. But part of this also has been discussed by another gentleman called Representative Andy Ogles. He says, my Remigration Act in Congress would retroactively denaturalize anyone who lied on their N-400 form that we're about to look at, going back to the last decade. And Zoran may have done this in 2018. He says, you're welcome, New York. We're going to get working on this. And again, it may and does, I think, make people uncomfortable. It makes people feel like you're xenophobic or you're racist or you're bigoted or something. But let's just be clear. In America, it's part of our history, it's part of our birthright to be very skeptical of immigrants coming into the country who will change the fabric of the nation. It's been around forever. You can look at the Chinese Exclusion Act. You can look at interning the Japanese. You can look at all sorts of opposition to Germans and Italians and Catholics and throughout history. We have an obligation to protect the integrity of our nation state. It's just that simple. It's part of actually preserving the idea of America and the values of America. Otherwise, you import a bunch of people who are not interested in those things at all. In fact, if they cared about things like free speech, then you would see remnants and historical evidence of those concepts in their home countries. If they shared American values, if their culture, if their countries were in alignment, then you would see evidence of that. We don't even see evidence of that in places like England, in the UK, where they're now saying that they're going to, criminalize certain positions on the Holocaust. You can't. Also, there's going to be a new Digital Services Act that forces the big social media companies into compliance so that speech can be limited. They're going to de-boost independent creators on YouTube in favor of boosting the BBC and other entities inside their own media spheres. And so we only have one America that has free speech and that has our values codified into our law. And so if we don't stand up and protect and preserve those things, then people who don't share those values, but who will lie about it on their immigration forms will come in and then will wake up one generation and the whole country will be destroyed. So we are happy to see at least the conversation happening here. And this is one message from Andy Ogles, another representative seemingly in alignment with Chip Roy.
We're talking about it. Andy and other true patriots have got 2 bills going through, folks. You just saw the first one. He talked about the Remigration Act, and then you have the Assimilation Act. Both those acts need to get passed because it will make us vet people before we even let them in and make sure they want to become Americans and assimilate. And the remigration one, true. If you've been ripping us off and you're a crook, your butt's going home. Can we get those 2 passed, Andy? Thank you.
Yeah, well, you think about Mamdani, right? He's someone who lied on his N-400. He's here on false pretense. Under my bill, remigration, you could denaturalize and you could deport him. You're welcome, New York, right? Like, this is the salvation of New York. Is that people that don't belong here shouldn't be here. We should be kicking them out. It's that simple. And this is a kitchen table issue. People are sick of this crap. We're going to work. We're working hard. American men and women are, working to make ends meet to provide for their families. Meanwhile, we have people coming from third world countries stealing from us. I'm sick of it, Dan.
We're talking about it, Andy.
Yeah, we're all pretty sick of it. And so here's the form and what it looks like. And apparently a bunch of these people just became citizens and they look miserable to be here, which is a weird thing because if you just normally, when you get naturalized and get that big, beautiful document that says you're an American citizen, you'd think you'd be happy about it, but they're not happy about it. And so I've got questions about their forms as well. But here's what one of the documents looks like, the Form N-400. And you fill this out. You say, hi, I'm a communist called Mamdani. I'm going to lie my ass off throughout this entire document. Mamdani, communist, got it. Fill it all out. He comes in. He provides a bunch of information. And then you scroll all the way down. You talk about your marriages, marital history, information about your children, schools that you attended, and so on and so forth. And then you get to this section right here. And it says, have you ever been a member of, involved in, or in any way associated with any communist or totalitarian party anywhere in the world? Any communism in your background? Yes or no? Now, Mamdani presumably said no. Then he got here, got his citizenship, becomes a party member of the DSA. Don't know if he was a party member before that. And starts to advocate for the same causes as literally Karl Marx as he's running for office. So what did he mark on his form? That would be good to know. Also, have you ever done this? Whether you're an actual member, he might say, well, I wasn't a member of. Okay, are you associated with at all? And 5B, have you advocated, AKA supported or promoted any of the following, or been a member of, involved in, or in any way associated with any group anywhere in the world that advocated any of the following? Opposition to all organized government, world communism, the establishment in the U.S. a totalitarian dictatorship, the overthrow by force or violence or other unconstitutional means of the government of the U.S. or all forms of law. Have you advocated for the unlawful assaulting or killing of any officer or officers of the government or any other organized government because of their official character? What about the unlawful damage, injury, or destruction of property? And just think about the entire Antifa party. It is an organized insurgency. Many of them just got hundreds of years in jail in Texas for shooting and killing officers or trying to kill an officer in Texas. We've seen them organize cabals of attack groups that were stopping the federal enforcement of law in places like Minneapolis and Minnesota. What about sabotage? Anything going on like that? And so anybody who came through that marked no on this document when they should have marked yes should be under further investigation. And the rest of this also has some other questions. What about not letting someone practice his or her religion? You ever done that? People like Don Lemon and the others in his orbit who were a part of that or advocate for that. Have you ever caused harm or suffering to any person because of his or her race, religion, national origin, membership in a particular social group, or political opinion? Huge swaths of these people want you silenced. They want you censored. You can't talk about certain issues because that will cause stochastic harm, stochastic terrorism, and so on and so forth. Have you ever been a member of or served in or participated in an armed group like Antifa, paramilitary groups, a self-defense unit, a vigilante group, a rebel group, a guerrilla group? If you answered any of those things, you need to disclose those. And so once again, all these people who came in over the last 10 years, if we turn around and we see that the answers to these questions were yes, then they committed immigration fraud. And just like any other fraud, financial fraud, mortgage fraud, auto loan fraud, whatever, you don't get the fruits of the fraud. You don't get to keep the money that you stole in a fraudulent contract or that you stole by writing a false check. So this is the immigration form, and there's a lot of questions on here. Have you ever made any misrepresentation to obtain any public benefit in the United States? Maybe we should zoom in on that one too. And the people who are going to rip off America and then lie as we're saying, hey, you know, we want you to be coming in. We want you to be a part of America. Can you just be honest so that we can make sure you're a good fit? They say no, they lie, they come in anyways, because we have a bunch of people in the system who just wave them in. Come on in. Here's another big question here. Do you support the Constitution and the form of government of the United States? Yes or no? If you answered yes, but the actual answer is no, that's a fraud. Do you understand the full oath of allegiance to the United States? Yes or no? And in that oath, it's pretty explicit. It says the following. It says, if your application is approved, you're going to take the oath. I hereby declare on oath that I absolutely and entirely renounce and abjure all allegiance and fidelity to any foreign prince, potentate, state, or sovereignty, which would absolutely encompass Ilhan Omar, who is clearly loyal to Somalia, of whom or which I have heretofore been a subject or citizen. So I would say, according to her practice, she can say whatever she wants out of her mouth, but we can see her actions. Her actions speak louder than words. That I will support and defend the Constitution and the laws of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I will bear arms on behalf of the United States when required by law. I will perform non-combatant service in the armed forces when required. And I will perform work of national importance under civilian direction when required. And I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, evading the truth, so help me God. Bunch of the godless communists say, I do, I swear, let me in. Then they come in and they obviously take the exact opposite. And you can see it in their governance. You can see it in their statements. And so maybe that is a fraudulent document that should be investigated. Now, if you go over to this other document, there's a 29-page form or actual kind of manual on how to fill out the form. And it says here, this is what it means if you are a person of good moral character. It means character that measures up to the standards of average citizens where you reside. And that's changing dramatically, right? So Ilhan, I think, would meet that standard since we imported a bunch of people in Minneapolis, in Minnesota, who are in alignment with her. That's why they elected her. They create a little cabal and a beachhead of people who are not actually Americans, other than on paper. They're not interested in the same values that we're interested in. In general, you must show that you're a person of good moral character and make sure that you are a lawful permanent resident up until the time you take the oath. Now, you may not qualify for naturalization if you unlawfully voted, and we are denaturalizing people on this cause. However, voting in a local election may not kick you out. And there's more on this because they ask about your crimes and other information about the armed forces and eligibility for the armed forces. You got to take an oath. You can make a certain waiver in certain conditions. And your oath of allegiance should be taken. Review all of this and we'll process you. You'll come in. And if there was a fraudulent checkbox on that original form, in my opinion, that should be investigated and you should not be the beneficiary of your fraud. So all that's happening right now. And somebody made this over at Il Donaldo Trumpo. This is what really the video should have been, with all the communists in their very warm clothes because they've got the AC on to 65 degrees while everybody else is melting and scorching. Here's what Mamdani was actually saying in this AI video.
Hey guys, it's your mayor. Call me Mamdani. Since we're communists and we don't have electricity for everyone except for ourselves, we would really appreciate it if you can go ahead and set your AC to a special mode called off mode. Also, it would be great if you could also stop eating because we don't have food for everyone. So if you're fat, please eat once every other day. If you're kind of fat, you can eat once a day. And if you're skinny, you're probably white, so you don't get to eat anything. If you have any pets, please bring them into City Hall so we can feed our Haitian immigrants.
Oh!
Well, I'm off to enjoy Taylor Swift's wedding. So later, comrades. Hey guys,
that's coming soon to New York City. So just give it a couple generations and that's what we'll be dealing with Stalin up there in the background. So pretty hilarious from Il Donaldo Trumpo. And here's more from the president himself. So he came out last night and he was saying communism is now the greatest threat to America. And I think he's right about this. And unfortunately, we do have some structural problems in America that has really, I think, left a lot of the youth disaffected. We've talked about, a lot of young kids can't find good jobs. Why? Because our country's been invaded. Many of these jobs have gone to H-1B holders, and they're displacing actual American citizens with these foreigners who'll work for a lower price. We know that home prices have gone up. When you bring in 10 million people, you have a very big increase of demand for a finite amount of homes. The new people increasing the demand results in a lower supply. That means cost goes up. So now people can't get a stake in the American dream. They can't actually participate in the capitalist endeavor because they have so perverted the structure of what America used to be, which is why we want Homeland Security and others to deport and to remove the people who violated American sovereignty so that we can bring the territorial integrity of our country back into a normal status. And the president is saying now that this is what communists do. They subvert the institutions. They make everything worse. Then they come in and they say, we're going to provide the solution. All we need is even more power. If you are unhappy with how things are, that we were able to engineer to shatter the foundation of the country, give us more power and we'll provide the solution. And the solution is always something like, we'll give you more. We'll tax the billionaires. We'll go after the white people or whatever, and we'll right the historical wrongs. We'll give you back your stolen land. We'll make sure that certain people are taxed more than others. We'll do DEI and equity and inclusion to elevate certain people as opposed to other people. And we'll restructure the whole society in our image. The problem with that is that there's only so far that a country can go before it ultimately collapses, which is really the end game. And what that will do is usher in a new oligarchical class, which are the communists, just like we saw in Russia, in China, and in many places, resulting in hundreds of millions dead across the world because they can't feed people. You have this problem in a so-called democracy where the tyranny of the majority can happen, where certain people are promised goods and services at the expense of everybody else. And if you enable a system like that, then they'll continue to vote themselves a raise at the expense of everybody else. And once that happens, you get into a doom loop and a downward spiral, and everything goes away for everybody because there is no incentive to get out and do anything. So the president is now addressing this head on. And here is what he had to say about this out at Mount Rushmore.
Yet as we approach this magnificent anniversary, we see our American identity under a renewed attack a generation after we fought and won the Cold War against the menace of communism, there is now a resurgence of the communist menace in our land, including from newcomers to our country who embrace ideas totally opposed to our way of life and our great success. These are not mere political disagreements like differences over taxes or regulations. Communism is a mortal threat to American liberty.
It's true.
It is the greatest threat to our country, including World War I, World War II, Pearl Harbor, or even 9/11. We're not going to let this happen to us. Believe me, we're not letting it happen. Because communism is the enemy of free people everywhere in the world. Never works. It's the enemy of the Constitution. Above all, it's the enemy of July 4th, 1776. It is the enemy indeed. Even while the radicals and extremists attack our incredible history at every turn, they are silent on the miserable history of communism itself because it never worked. Thousands of years, if you look at it, under different names, under somewhat different ideologies and systems, that system has led to more death and destruction than any system ever tried. It killed 100 million people just in the last century alone. Communism is the exact opposite of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It's death, tyranny, and the pursuit of evil.
Yep.
The godless communist morality states that anything is justified to bring about inhuman visions and to really propose what's good. They don't want good. They don't love God, and they don't want God. They don't love religion, and they don't want religion, and they won't have it.
They hate it.
But we will not let them win. They have no chance against us. They have no respect for law, justice, principle, tradition, or your God-given rights. It's an ideology of mass theft, mass control, mass lies, and mass murder. Such doctrines can be given no quarter in a democracy because the first thing they do when they get into power is turn around and destroy it. It always is destroyed, just as communists have done in other countries all over the world, no matter where you look. Very simply, communism represents the worst ideas and abuses in history by the worst people. The American founding represents the best ideas and traditions in history by the best people like you.
It's true.
You can be loyal to Karl Marx, or you can be loyal to America.
It's true.
You can be a communist, or you can be a patriot. You cannot be both. As for those who peddle Marxist lies about our heritage, tell our children that we live on stolen land or that our heroes were oppressors, they're doing something much worse than slandering our past. They are slandering and attacking our future. Not going to let that happen. They're trying to tear down the great American character, to destroy the people who declared independence, who crossed the Delaware, who settled the West and conquered the skies. You know who those people are. But we will never let that happen. Our American ancestors did not shed their blood at Concord and Trenton, Gettysburg and Shiloh, Midway and Normandy, just so that a band of thieves, radicals, and lunatics could come in and loot, pillage our nation. Our heroes died to win, build, and to save, and to build truly a great country, the greatest country ever in the world. So on the eve of this 250th anniversary of American heritage, we resolve and swear for all to hear that the citizens of the United States of America will vanquish communism quickly. Don't let them take too much of your time. You know they're wasting your time, don't you? But we're not going to let them take too long or too much of our time as they play their games and send them into exile. We will send them quickly away, and we will continue to build our country bigger and better and stronger than ever before. America will never be a communist country.
Let's go. And And, you know, the leftists who are playing around with this are really playing around with fire. You've got guys like Dan Goldman in New York who just got crushed by the communists, the DSAers, the Democrat Socialists, which are just a euphemism for communists, because they can't use that word. Americans know what that means. The history books know what that means. So they have to come up with another new term that is part of their entire shtick. They say, oh, no, we don't hate white people. We're just for diversity. Okay, so you mean diversity except for one group. Okay, so got it. So diversity, it's instead of anti-white hate, got it. And so on and so forth. And here it's now socialism. We know what that means. It's a euphemism for communism. And guys like Dan Goldman in New York who were ultra leftists, they were anti-Trumpers. He was somebody who was waging war against the president. And it wasn't good enough. It's never good enough for them. And so they'll be on your side until they're not anymore. And then they'll turn around and slice your political neck right in half and then throw you out into the gutter as they seize power, which is, of course, what happened in New York. And it's happening elsewhere around the country. So we're happy the president is calling it out. And I think it is a real serious threat. It's always been the main threat. It's always been the slow march through the institutions, which is a communist strategy. You just work your way up in, you destroy them from within, and there's a problem-solution dichotomy where you create the problem, you propose the solution, and then you're hailed as the savior for the very problem that you created. So the president is all over this. And now Congress, you know, we don't know if they're just throwing around these phrases like denaturalize and deport. And I don't know that anybody would have the stones to do it with the commie Mamdani since he's now the friggin' mayor of New York City. But the point is, we should not enable more immigration fraud. And if these people are coming in and just swearing an oath and they don't mean it at all, if they're asked questions like these, are you a communist? Are you a member or in any way? This is from the form that they have to sign. And these should be even expanded. Okay, we should add 5C to this one and ask questions. Do you like Karl Marx? Do you think that communism is a legitimate form of government? Have you ever said in a serious manner or conversation, from each according to their ability, to each according to their needs? Have you ever said that? And if we can track that down, well, then you're a communist and it's time for you to go, because we do not need to import people who are not on our team. What kind of a stupid rule is that? So this is the current document, and I think it's well worth an investigation into all of these questions, which are not largely looked at, to see whether or not people are in compliance and whether denaturalization and deportations happen, or whether we just stop the bleeding at the importation of people who are going through the proceedings, who then become apparently naturalized citizens and then stand here looking friggin' miserable while we're trying to celebrate America. You obviously don't care about that flag. You can see it on your face. And so why don't you give it back to actual Americans who do? And you can go home and you can mope and moan in your own country where you're not on stolen land or whatever stupid ideology you're subscribing to. So, of course, we'll see what Congress does on this. We know that there is at least one act that is making its way through, courtesy of Ogles. It's called the Remigration Act. And after the Supreme Court ruling, we're sort of running out of options here. So we're now on this path, and we'll see if Congress takes this seriously to protect territorial America, or whether they continue to import and literally empower communists because of the current system and its makeup. But time will tell. We're happy that you're here joining us, holding the line on these things. I know these conversations make a lot of people uncomfortable, but it's the reality. And if we don't stand firm and stand fast, then we're going to get run over. So we're happy some people are talking about it. We'll continue to do the same. Thanks for joining us as we do. Now, we've got another update on an appeal out of Massachusetts, and then we'll hear from you. But we had a nice victory, and so we'll celebrate eliminating the anti-American history out of our national parks. And here is this story right here. A Biden judge who decided that she could overrule the president just got slapped down by the Court of Appeals. This woman here is called Angel Kelly, and Joe Biden put her back into office in 2021, and she, of course, is out of the District of Massachusetts, where many other activist judges reside. And when the president comes down, he issues orders and he says, we're going to make some changes, since the people elected him to govern. The judges say, I don't care. I don't like your policy. And so now I'm going to block it. I'm going to issue an injunction to make you not able to do the job to which you're elected to do, not able to enforce the constitutional powers to which you are provided. And I'm the president now. So Angel Kelly, and she just got slapped down in this case, coming down from the First Circuit Court of Appeals. This is a battle over the national parks. And Doug Burgum is the Trump administration Secretary of Interior who got sued here by many of these leftist groups, the Association of National Park Rangers, Society for Graphic Design, Union of Concerned Scientists. Okay, go be concerned somewhere else. And what this is about anti-American propaganda that has littered all of our institutions, all of our monuments and national parks, to say that you, America and Americans, are bad. You have done bad things in your past. And so rather than focusing on the good aspects of your country, everywhere you go, we're going to browbeat you about something ridiculous, about indigenous people or about slavery or about oppressors or about stolen land or about climate change or about whatever, constantly, so that huge portions of our population grow up being educated as though America is bad, as though our country has done nothing good in the world. Focus on only the negative things and forget all the good stuff so that you no longer are a patriot, so that you no longer are a nationalist, so that you are instead somebody who is perfectly happy to have the country invaded by tens of millions of people from outside the world to make you feel better about what a bad person you were, what your ancestors did 300 years ago, or something ridiculous. So Trump, of course, came into power and issued an executive order. And it said, we're getting rid of all of that garbage all across America. If this derogatory language was installed in a monument or a national park museum, it's got to go. So this just dropped recently, and we remember what this was about. On March 27, 2025, right after the president came into power, he issued an executive order titled Restoring Truth and Sanity to American History. And we are recording this on America's birthday, the big 250. And there are news articles all over the place about huge swaths of the population that doesn't even know what this is, doesn't even know what the Declaration of Independence is, can't even name the three branches of government, have no idea what America is. It's like, no wonder they don't support it. No wonder they're happy to go elect communists like Mamdani. So we are going to restore truth and sanity to American history. We have to win the culture. We have to win the hearts and minds. We have to remind people and educate the youth about what America is, how it got here, why it got here, and why it's better than rotting away in a gulag or going over and living with the Somalians or the Haitians. Now, as relevant here, the order directed Doug Burgum, the Secretary of Interior, to take a look from Trump. I want you to review all public monuments, all memorials, all statues, markers, or similar properties that are in your jurisdiction. And I'm ordering you to take action as appropriate and consistent with the law to ensure that any of these monuments do not contain descriptions, depictions, or any other content that inappropriately disparages Americans past or living. Huh? No more anti-American garbage in any of these locations, including persons living in colonial times as well. Yes, we know about Jefferson and the slaves. We got it. But he also wrote the Declaration and did a lot of other pretty informative and transformative things. So maybe we should focus on that rather than opening up a gaping old wound. How can a society heal if everybody is just constantly repeatedly in their face, smashed with "you're bad, you're bad, you're bad." We're not happy about slavery. We all wish it never happened. We got it. But do we need to keep pouring salt in the wound, or can we focus on what actually unifies us in the aftermath of that without forgetting about it, without negating it? I'm not trying to diminish it. I'm just saying, when you go in and you walk into a memorial, the first thing is like, oh, hi, this is built on stolen land. I thought this was, where a great war was fought in order to eliminate slavery, where we lost like 1 million people to make that happen. Can we talk about that? Or do we have to talk about something, that's actually bad? Let's actually learn history. Let's not be propagandized into thinking that we're all still bad because we haven't rectified it enough, and we have to all keep fighting with each other amongst all of our races and religions. And now they're wanting people to fight across the line between, boomers and the young, and it's like Protestants versus Catholics, and it's never ending. How about we can just learn about America? So get rid of it, Doug, and instead focus on the greatness of the achievements and the progress of the American people. Or if it's a natural feature, how about we focus on the beauty, the abundance, and the grandeur of the American landscape? Let's talk about those things, okay? And the president issued that in an order. Then 2 months later, what we got was an order from the secretary. So then Trump sends that over to Doug. Doug sends that into another order. And he says, we're implementing this, baby. He said, you told us to go to the National Park Service and within 90 days conduct the review that was mandated by Trump. I'm going to go and I'm going to look and see in all of the parks whether there are any interpretive materials that contain images, descriptions, depictions, messages, narratives, or any other content that inappropriately disparages Americans, past or living. With respect to content about natural features, we're going to talk about how beautiful the Grand Canyon is, okay? The secretary's order, also from Doug, further directed that any content meeting the criteria, if you find it, and if you find that it is inconsistent with the purposes of the executive order, Doug says, we're removing it. We're going to remove it and replace it. It's gone with content that focuses on the greatness of the achievements, on the progress of the American people, all of us, not one group at the expense of another. That is only going to compound over time and cause another civil war or a destruction of the entire nation. All of us. Some things were good, some things were bad, but we've come to a resolution. Can we move forward on it? Or with respect to natural features, let's talk about how beautiful it is. Now, in June 25, then, the National Park Service employees, they were instructed to go out and conduct reviews. Trump gives it to Doug gives it to the staff goes and does it. A review team consisting of senior management and others, and directorates and representatives, began analyzing the submissions. They say, oh yeah, this one is talking about stolen land. All right, well, submit the form, send it up. If the content was found to be non-conforming, then the unit is notified and they could go implement revisions or remove it. Just, okay, that sign's coming down until a replacement content is developed, or just remove it permanently. Now, as a result of these efforts, by early 26 this year, the National Park Service had removed or flagged hundreds of interpretive materials, including materials addressing climate change, slavery, abolition, immigration, labor, women's suffrage, civil rights, and the culture and mistreatment of indigenous groups. And you go to DC, a lot of this is still out there, by the way. You go into various museums out here, you walk into the room and you just say, oh, this is the global warming propaganda room. I'm sure you've seen this. You walk into this room, and we were just in one yesterday, in fact, and they show you the stupid chart that goes back to like the 1800s. So you've got the temperature on this axis, and then you've got time on this axis. And it starts at like 1800 right here on the chart. And then you say, and it goes like this, and then it goes, whoa, global warming's going up. And so it's the global warming propaganda room. And there's all these like red signs. First of all, it's very hot here right now anyways, but it's called summer. And we have a heat wave, right? But what they do is they leave out all of the other years. Why don't you add another 1,000 years to that little scale there, idiots? And then what you'll see is you go, the further back you go, it actually is even hotter than it is now. Gets hotter, gets cooler, gets hotter, gets cooler. But they just propagandize you everywhere you go. It's the first thing you see. And you still see these signs. We saw them yesterday. Burning carbon. We were at a gem location in the National History Museum. You go and look at these gems, and there's one gem, and it says this is carbon. And some people burn carbon, but the problem with burning carbon is it increases the planet's temperature. You go, oh, really? Really? Got it. And, the consensus of the scientists all say the thing. And of course, we know the scientists are liars based on what they did to us during COVID. Trust the science means just trust the propagandists, and we're not going to do that anymore. So in February, a bunch of these lib groups, 6 organizations, National Parks Conservation and others, all sued. They said, you can't remove these things. We have to hate America and hate everybody who built the country so that we can then change the country to our own liking, really destroy the country, which is, I think, ultimately what they want. They don't want a strong America. They want a globalized America. It's easier for the people who run the planet to not have one nation that stands out and cares about itself. The district court granted the motion at the lower level. So this lady here called Angel Kelly, appointed by Joe Biden in 2021, and she was born in New York. We always like to confirm that because Joe Biden appointed so many foreigners to these positions. But she was born here, and she says, you're going to win. You have to put the anti-American garbage right back into the parks. Specifically, it stayed Doug's order, issued a universal preliminary injunction, which she shouldn't be allowed to do. The Supreme Court just allows this crap to continue on. And so she's a judge in Massachusetts, but she said all parks everywhere have to put back the anti-American garbage into the museums, saying you can't do anything more. I am now ordering you to restore and reinstall this crap by July 3rd, 2026. And she just got slapped down on July 2nd. Saying all interpretive material at the public sites that had been altered or removed or damaged needed to go back in because I hate America too, and the president. So now Burgum moved for a stay of the order. She denied it. The department then filed it with this court in the Court of Appeals for a stay, and now that has been granted, which we'll get to. So they walk us through. They say, look, a stay is an intrusion into the ordinary process. And so the lower level judge blocks everything, limiting the order. They're asking for a stay of the block pending the litigation. So 4 questions we got to ask. Is the Department of Interior, are they making a strong showing that they're going to win on the merits? Whether they're going to be irreparably injured if we don't stop this lunatic judge, whether issuance of the stay will substantially injure the other parties, and where the public interest lies. Do we as a public benefit or are we harmed by this judge blocking the return to pro-American content in public facilities? The people pay for this. America is paying for these things. Why do we have to hate ourselves everywhere we turn? Every which way we turn, we did something bad, we're bad people. Now, with respect to the first factor, the department advances several claims. They say, we're going to win. His order is not reviewable, okay? You cannot review Doug's order because the APA doesn't apply. This isn't a final agency action, and we're allowed to make these changes. Now, if they say that that's not the right underlying basis for issuing the stay to block the lower level judge, they say, well, in addition to that, we're going to show that we're actually following the law. So first of all, it's not reviewable under the APA, under the type of law that they're bringing their claim under. But secondarily, we're also following the law. We have the National Park Service Centennial Act. We have the National Parks Omnibus Management Act. On that basis, the department says they're not going to win. They say that we're not following the law. We're literally following the law. So we're going to win. And none of this is arbitrary and capricious. In fact, this is not a change in some longstanding policy. And they shouldn't have been relying on the old anti-American garbage in there in the first place. If they were relying on that, that's their problem. It's not something that they can then make a claim that we changed it, that's causing them harm. So even if the court says, even if that they are likely to succeed, saying this is a final agency action, they say we're still going to meet this standard because we conclude that the department has made a strong showing that these whiners who hate the country are not actually going to suffer irreparable harm. And you need to be having irreparable harm if you're going to get an injunction. The lower judge blocked the order saying if you remove this stuff, these people are going to be harmed. And they actually have the burden of showing that harm. And let's see what the harm that they allege was. In support of their motion for a stay, these anti-American whiners, the preservation groups, and others, they say that they would suffer irreparable harm if you don't put this crap back in because this order frustrates their organizational missions, which is to make America look bad and make everybody hate each other. They say if you don't put this crap back in the museum, it's going to harm our reputation. It's going to impair our relationship with our members who also hate America, and it's going to reduce participation in their activities because people want to go and they want to get confirmation bias about their political ideologies, leading to a loss of income and goodwill, and that their members would also suffer harm. So what did the lower level judge rely on? She said that they are arguing that there was going to be aesthetic, recreational, and informational harms. If you say, hey, the Mount Rushmore, which is still a point of contention, my understanding is that that was built on Indian land, and they're still very mad about that. Back in the 1920s, 1920 to 1940, they built this thing. The Supreme Court said this was a taking from the Indian lands. They said, well, you have to compensate them for that to the tune of $100 million. The Indians don't want the money. They want the land. And so it's a point of contention. So you could make the whole mountain about that if you wanted to, or you could make it about an honor and a tribute to the American presidents. And for them, that is going to be informational harm. And they don't want anything to detract from those prior acts. But to meet the burden of showing irreparable harm, they then said the harms are going to be aesthetic, recreational, and informational. And it's only going to be to their members, not to themselves. They submitted a bunch of declarations. They say we don't like how it's going to look. We're not going to want to go there. So our recreation is not going to be something that we can continue. And the information is going to harm our intellect. So the lower court, this is the Court of Appeal saying, and their finding of irreparable harm relies on this, that one member's use, so one person in one of these organizations, it's always some whiner, saying that the interpretive materials at park sites is a primary source of educational material for her school-aged children. So she takes them to the park to brainwash her kids about civil rights, climate change, and slavery. And by the way, you've seen these signs if you've been to one of these sites or anywhere else. They're not in context. It's propaganda. They're just statements about this is stolen land. Oh, really? Is it more complicated than that conclusion? Do you want to tell me the full history of how it became stolen? Have you heard of things called conquest and just kind of the natural development of land holdings across the history of mankind? Do you want to put any of that into the story, or do you just want to say America bad and Teddy Roosevelt bad? Do you want to talk about the complexity of slavery? Do you want to talk about the abolitionists in the North? Do you want to talk about the Civil War? Do you want to talk about hundreds of thousands of Americans dying in order to make that change? All of the Reconstruction amendments, how we are actually trying to be a more a stronger society that bonds all of the people together while there's still open slave markets in Africa. You want to put that context in there so your kids are educated? No, you don't. So the district court then, and so she's kind of not educating her kids, she's just brainwashing them. So even that alone, I would say is not harmful at all. It's actually good for the kids. They'll be smarter now. The district court also accepted their contention that members, quote, could no longer rely on the park sites for their pedagogical value, saying without these materials, and found that this amounted to a loss of educational opportunity, and the fact that they can't go learn about these things is a harm. which I think is a benefit. Now those kids will be much smarter. So as the department points out, however, the plaintiffs do not allege that any material has even been removed from the park, and that the member identifies the ones that she is saying I can't go take and see may not have even been removed. And the department then also submitted a declaration from Jessica Bowrun, exercising the authority that was delegated to her. She said, we haven't even made any changes to that park, to those parks, even though those materials have been submitted for review. So now you're crying about something that we haven't even changed yet. And the member otherwise identified by name only parks that she hopes to bring her daughters to someday. It's like the lady who's suing to stop the ballroom, saying, well, I don't like how it looks when I go for a walk, but I can't really walk, and I've got some ailments in my knees or something. So when I do walk, it's going to be a problem. Therefore, you can't do anything anywhere. So more broadly, the Court of Appeal says the district court found that the removal of these materials constitutes a government-sanctioned erasure and a rejection of people's histories. You see that there? So she doesn't like what is being removed. She doesn't like the content of it. And so another Biden activist judge called Angel Kelly says you're erasing our history when all we're doing is providing a less propagandized, more accurate history that hasn't been commandeered by the left. Also, she wrote, it strips the sites of context that gives them meaning. It degrades the public trust in government. No, I don't think so. I think it does the opposite. So it's a matter of interpretation. It's a matter of opinion. You know what's interesting? She's not the Secretary of Interior. She's not the president. She's not electable. She's only removable by impeachment. So she's got no actual connection with what the people want or whether they have a say in any of this. She just prefers her narrative over the duly elected president's narrative, and that these consequences are now irreparable harm because you're destroying her or their people's histories. But this determination, the Court of Appeal says, okay, that's not sufficiently connected to any harm that they're actually going to experience. So it's not actually real. In addition, while any finding of harm to the public generally is relevant to the fourth factor, it's not relevant whether there's going to be irreparable harm that would justify a preliminary relief at this moment. Now, they did identify other harms, but we note that they do not appear to have shown how those harms are even traceable to the Secretary's order. For example, they do not explain how their claims of mission frustration, diversion of resources, and postponement of long-term projects, what's actually going to harm you. If we take these crap signs down, what's going to be the problem? They didn't explain it. Similarly, claims that the order has chilled expression and undermined professions and professional reputations, all of that rests on inferences and extrapolations. You're not even referencing the specific provisions in the Secretary's order. You're just whining and moaning about patriarchy or white nationalism or something. And the claims that some plaintiffs have seen a reduced membership or participation because their fears is that associating with these organizations will cause them to be perceived as opposing the current presidential administration is all just speculation. And you haven't provided any evidence connecting any of your speculative harms to anything here. So in any event, the Court of Appeal says, for the reasons we've explained, the Department of Interior has made a strong showing that the harms that Angel Kelly relied on to support their finding is something that has no support. And so accordingly, Interior is likely to succeed on the motion, and the remaining stay factors will also be considered. But here, the entry of an unsupported order from the lower level judge staying the enforcement and enjoining this constitutes a form of reparable injuries, their argument. Saying that on the other side, though, for reasons that we have already related to those we've set forth, we say on the issue of whether they've met their burden to show irreparable harm. So she says, if you stop this from happening, they'll remove the signs, the lower judge, and that will be a harm to us. But they say, you haven't shown the harm. You have failed to meet your burden to show the harm. And so if there is no harm, then you can't say that a stay of the order that is prohibiting a harm that doesn't exist, That's not going to survive on appeal. And so given the department and their likelihood of success on the merits, the public interest factor here does not itself require denial of the stay. And so accordingly, because Doug Burgum and Interior and President Trump have met their burden, we grant its motion for a stay of the lower level order while this is pending appeal. And so hopefully those signs are coming down. And man, if they give me permission, I saw a couple of these yesterday at the National History Museum. So I just need a screwdriver and I can help take care of this business. Doug, we're here standing by. So that happened and a nice victory. We want to remove the propaganda. We want to go and enjoy American history without being lectured to every single place we turn about how bad we are and about how only certain actions that are in favor of one political party can remediate that harm. It's not just you're bad, it's you're bad and you have to do something about that. And what is that action step? It supports the Democratic Party. It supports their view of America. They don't even like America. So all that happened, and the president was talking about some of the good things in our country and how beautiful it actually is over the last 250 years. And here's what the president had to say.
150 years, the free people of this land have accomplished more with our liberty than any other society has accomplished, even in thousands and thousands of years. As you look back and you study, what our critics will never understand is that America is not the sum of its mistakes. Our mistakes make us human. Our achievements make us American, and nobody has ever had the achievements that we've had. We are the nation that dreamed and created the modern world. We laid the railroads. We raised up those big, beautiful skyscrapers, harnessed electricity, and invented the light bulb, the telephone, the airplane, the assembly line, the television, the microchip, the personal computer, the internet, the GPS, the smartphone, and almost everything else that has ever been invented, including, especially over the last few days in certain areas, a thing called air conditioning.
Yeah, baby, we love that.
We invented it all. We charted the human genome to cure diseases. We powered entire cities by splitting single atoms and planted our flag on the moon. Americans fill the airwaves of the planet with our music and our culture. We invented baseball, basketball, football, volleyball, NASCAR, and the rodeo. We love that rodeo of the West. Americans have won the most Olympic medals of any country in the world by far, the most Nobel Prizes. Well, they haven't given me one.
Not yet.
Settled 8 wars. I still haven't gotten it. That's okay. And the most world records. We publish by far the most patents. We produce the best movies. We make the best music. And we raise up the greatest entertainers and strongest athletes the world has ever seen. So true. We built the biggest and most dynamic economy. And by the way, our country today is doing better than it's ever done before. Never had anything like it.
Let's go.
With, as of last week, $19.2 trillion pouring into the United States right now from all over the world. That's the investments being made, and the record was 3. 4 years. In 4 years, the last administration did much less than 1, and we did 19.2 in 12 months. And thanks to our great election win, November 5th, and the tariffs, plants and factories are being built all over the United States right now, and they're being built at a number that we've never, ever seen before. So much more. We're breaking records by double, triple, quadruple. We created the strongest and most powerful military. We won 2 world wars, the Cold War, and left America's enemies in the depths of history.
And there's a lot more to go and a lot more to come. So we want to focus on those things. We don't want to be lectured to about how bad everything is that continues to divide people, splice and dice people into a bunch of different groups, make them fight amongst themselves, and then we all suffer. We all have the people in power ultimately take away from all of us rather than us binding together as an American population in furtherance of American values and American rights and liberties in order to help become a stronger country. That's the last thing that they want. They'd rather have us all just screaming at each other and knifing each other in the backs. But fortunately, we have a president who gets it. We've got an administration that is now trying to eliminate a lot of that garbage material out of our institutions so that we can reinvigorate the sense of what it means to be America and to be American. And our country will go stronger as a result of these actions and this foundation that we're relaying down here today. So we're going to keep our eye on this case. The stay is now in effect, and so the signs can come down. And Angel Kelly, another activist judge from Massachusetts, who said that she was going to substitute her judgment for the president's judgment and did so haphazardly, recklessly, such that she got stayed, was taking evidence that wasn't even relevant or had any nexus to the alleged harm as gospel. She just got slapped down. So we'll see what happens as this matter develops and more, but we're always happy when a lower level activist judge gets reversed by the Court of Appeals, and the litigation will continue. We'll keep our eye on it. Thank you for joining and subscribing as we clean up our parks. All right, friends, it's been a tremendous Independence Day stream. Thank you for joining us. I hope that your 250th celebration has been bursting full of energy. Now let's hear from you. If you're just joining us, we had a quick roundup of some of the latest that happened last night. Many more celebrations to come. We checked out what was going on in Texas. We saw Trump at Mount Rushmore. We had a couple of good clips from him. We saw fireworks. And even Merriam-Webster is dunking on the English for handing them the L in canceled. That's why they used two of them, in case you're wondering. So then we talked about Mamdani and how even Congress is now saying, you know, it's time to denaturalize and deport this dude. Chip Roy from Texas said it explicitly. Let's go. And we saw that there were others reacting to this little speech that he gave with apparently naturalized citizens now who don't look happy to be here. They look absolutely miserable, holding a token American flag as the newest paperwork Americans. Yep, you got a piece of paper. Great. You're an American now. Not exactly how that works. But we saw that there were others. Based Mike Lee, senator from Utah, said, is this a good idea to maybe strip people's citizenships if they're communists? They can go be communist elsewhere. They can go to China. They can go to many of these other countries that are socialist in nature and see how that works out for them. Andy Ogles submitted a Remigration Act. We took a deep dive on the actual documents that these naturalized citizens, so-called, have to sign and submit. And in the documents, we're not making this up. It's right here, Section 5A. Are you a communist? Are you? Yes or no? So if you said no, but the answer is yes, and we can see that through your words and actions after you get past the post, then maybe we should do something about that. We saw this fun little AI video of the communists. Once they really ensconce themselves, this is how it will look. They'll all have air conditioning. We'll all have nothing if history is any guide. And the president came out very forcefully to say, communism is an existential threat, but we will never be a communist country. And we're going to fight to the very end to ensure that. So we also talked about Joe Biden's judge, Angel Kelly, who thinks she's running the country. She just got slapped down by the First Circuit Court of Appeals, handing it back down to Massachusetts, and heard once again from the president about all of the beautiful things that America has done. But instead of talking about those things, they'd rather talk about stolen land or some garbage like that. Well, not anymore. So we're happy to have you here. I hope that the rest of your Independence Day is absolutely outstanding. I saw some very nice and very generous donations come in. Thank you for sending those in. I also want to wish my mother a very happy and tremendous birthday. Mama G, we love you. It's her birthday today. She's born on July 4th. Might be part of the reason I love America so much, because it's in the DNA. But it's her birthday. She's the best mama ever. I love you, Mama. I hope that you're having a beautiful time celebrating. And we know that there are many friends in our Watcher fam who are sending you love and wishing you the happiest of happy birthdays on this glorious 250th birthday. It's a good one. We love you, Mama G. Happy birthday. And we'll call you later, too. We called her this morning, but she didn't answer. She's probably celebrating, partying. So we'll call you again later, Mama. We love you. All right, so now, my friends, let's take a look and see what you say about all of this and more. And then we'll wrap, baby, and we're going to go party like it's America's 250. Coming up soon. And we're excited for that. Man, friends, thank you for these donos, man. Really nice of you for sending these in. Rex Kwando, amazing. Hey, man, I could do this. I used to clean pools all day, man. I've cleaned a lot of pools in my day. I would be honored to accept this challenge. Mr. President, put me in, coach. I can do the job. That I can definitely do. I'm a very good skimmer, too. Excellent skimmer. That's not really the type of net that I would use, although it's a good net. I know it's an AI video. But it's also good for your biceps, too, and your forearms, too. Your boy can skim just like this. Woof, kind of like a smooth motion. Back and forth. It's beautiful. Oh, my friends, look who's joining us. It's my beautiful pregnant wife. Come on in here, baby.
Thanks. Should I get a chair? I just wanted to say hi.
Well, say hi. What's going on?
Happy 4th of July, Watcher fam. Thanks for celebrating with us. And hey, that does kind of look like you.
Yeah, little bigger biceps, but
I don't know. In that shirt, this shirt, it kind of looks the same.
This one's nice and tight.
It's great. But yeah, I just wanted to come say happy 4th of July.
Amazing.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
How much do you love America?
It's coursing through our veins.
Yeah.
Great.
And how's the baby coming?
Good.
Our July baby. So friends, we're going to get, you may have seen the announcement, but in the Social Security Administration is going to be making special 250 baby Social Security cards. So if your child is born July 2nd through December 31st this year, your Social Security card will have a little, I think, a watermark or something as like a memento for being born on this semi-quincentennial. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think so. Like the little 250 stamp on it. So that's pretty cool. But it's coming. It's good. I don't know. Can you guys see it?
Yep, there it is.
Moving.
There's a baby in there.
Got a little foot right here or something.
And so remind them when we're due and give them the rundown.
Well, it's a guess date. I'm thinking it's going to be July 20th, so I want all of you to just hold that picture in your mind with me. That would be great.
That soon. It's like 2 weeks.
Yeah. We have a lot of finishing touches to do, but we're really close.
But it might be a little later.
Yes. Technically, doctor's due date is July 27th, and first babies notoriously come late. Like the average statistic is like a week, 1.34, I don't know, something like that, late. So it could be an August baby, technically. But if we all hold July 20th in our mind,
you're going to will it into existence.
We have the baby shower on the 18th. We'll hang out. That's kind of like my final internal doing, like, check off. And then we'll have all the gifts unpacked. Thank you guys so much for that, by the way. We're working on getting those put away and opened, and it's been such a really generous blessing. Like, really grateful for all of you sending that stuff to us. Oh, that's gonna make me a little emotional.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for your love and support for that. And then the 19th we'll just chill, maybe go get a pedicure, and baby can come any point after that.
They'll be ready.
Yeah.
Officially.
We'll be ready. So.
And we're doing a home birth.
Yes.
That's
the plan.
That's another layer to the experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. Then we don't have to go anywhere. Just get to walk around the house, walk around the block. Oh my gosh, but if it's as hot as it is right now, we will not be going outside.
It's cooking.
It's cooking. It's a little rough.
Well, amazing. People are saying, very excited, saying congratulations. Linda, my son came early.
I came early also. So I'm telling my midwives, I'm like, I was like 2 weeks early, a week and a half early. And just, even though my mom birthing me was smooth and easy. I was almost a car baby. And I was early. Isn't a guarantee that that's going to be the case for us, but I'm telling you guys, let's just all hold the 20th in our mind.
Yeah, we'll see.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, good. And so I think we're going to go check out some activities. Maybe. It's pretty warm out, so we're going to go poke out, maybe come back in.
Totally. The weather is abnormal. Yeah, that's what people are telling us. We have some friends visiting. They just took the scooters out and about for a little adventure, so I think that's good. And maybe wait till they come back. Figure out also, we have maybe some other friends coming over this afternoon. Since we're so close to the mall, like using our place kind of as a launching pad. But I haven't hosted in a long time, you guys, so I didn't order anything. I didn't think about
We'll make it work.
doing a Safeway order or something. I'm like, oh, I'm a bad hostess.
We'll make it work.
Internally. Maybe next year I'll be more prepared. We'll be good.
Lots of fun, lots of activities coming up.
Yeah. You were 4 weeks early? Wow. That's great. Hopefully, obviously baby was okay. 20th is my first son's birthday. Yeah, let's hold that. The 20th is also my grandparents' wedding anniversary. And the 20th is when we got engaged last year. I didn't really put 2 and 2 together when I first initially was like, I think it's going to be the 20th, because I've been saying that pretty much the entire time. And then it was just recently I was like, maybe that's why it's coming into my mind of the 20th. That would be a full circle.
Yeah.
Have a baby 1 year after getting engaged.
It happened fast. Everything went fast.
Oh, it's going to be great. Okay, well, I'll leave you guys to it. I know you were going to go over.
Yeah, we're going to say thank you.
Chats.
Yeah.
But happy 4th of July. I hope you all are celebrating, having fun, have some fans and cool air. I told Rob yesterday, I was like, this was when we wish we had a pool.
Yeah. And it's hotter here than it is in Phoenix, where we came from.
Yeah. It's like the hottest city in
America right now.
It's crazy.
I know.
Our friends are from Arizona. I told them, we need you guys to leave. You brought the heat with us.
I know. Funny.
I'm not actually kicking them out, but
No.
anyways. Okay, love you guys. Thank you so much. And I probably will just see you on the 18th, which is only 2 weeks away. So thank you again. And we're really grateful for you all.
We love you. Thank you, baby.
You're welcome.
All right, my friends, my beautiful wife. Isn't she just amazing? Love you, baby. Yeah, so, baby coming soon. It is now July 4th. And so the 20th is going to be here soon. Yeah. And we're excited. We're getting very close. We're ready. We're totally ready. We've got it all. We're good to go. So thank you for saying hello to her. And thank you for all the love and the support, as she mentioned. Many of you have sent baby support and stuff. And so we're just grateful. We really love our Watcher fam. And so she wanted to come and say thank you as well. So thank you for that. All right. And so friends, thank you for these donos. Hey, big celebrations coming in from Scotland. More here. 19 months as a membo coming in from Scotland. 19 months, baby. Woo, good to have you here. More here. Shout out to our friends in Scotland celebrating and for joining us as we ring in the big 250. Hey, what's up, voice? Hey, happy 250, everyone. Let's celebrate tonight with fireworks and a movie on off-label tonight. The movie will be The Sandlot on Rumble only. See you there. That's a great movie. Yeah, The Sandlot. Yeah. Trying to think of a quote from that one, but it's a good one. And voice says, instead of Trump on Rushmore, how about finishing Lincoln first? Want to troll? Do a drone light show of Trump dancing on Rushmore. Yeah, and I think that's a huge percentage of why I think Trump should just issue an order to put himself on the mountain and just say, I'll pay for it. I'll get private funding like the other things. Because they would just get so mad, they would melt down. And he would never be allowed to do it because he'd be sued into oblivion. But he could just say, I'm paying for it. We're just going to do it. I'll just fund it like the ballroom. You know, we'll just put me on there. The hair's already in the rock formation. It shouldn't take a lot of work and get it done in no time. Ahead of budget, ahead of schedule, and under budget. We can do it. It would be fun. Hey, American Dreamer, I arrived late. Did we get to see your whole outfit? Freedom! So it's basically this. I do have American flag shorts on as well. So it's top to bottom. The whole thing, baby. Top to bottom, one giant American flag. We're getting out and we're going to go outside and we're going to go celebrate, baby. We're going to go to the National Mall. We're going to go enjoy the fireworks. The flyovers should be starting very soon. And so we're ready to go. I've got the wrist things on. I've got some American flag socks on, top to bottom. We love America and we're representing, baby. So I'm like one big giant walking flag. It's beautiful. I feel good. I feel as good as I've ever felt in my whole life with this outfit. I may never take it off, you know? We'll see. Thank you, American Dreamer, for the question. Thanks for letting me share. Hey, Sean of Thyme, what's up? Thank you for being here 14 months, Sean. You're amazing. Did Richard Simmons' corpse throw up on you? I don't think so. Is that Richard Simmons, the gay guy who does the dancing body exercise videos? These are American flags. Does he vomit America? Does he vomit liberty? Because if he did, then maybe. But otherwise, no. Thank you, Sean of Thyme. We like our outfit. We're happy about it. Thank you, Sean. Living Grace. Hey, thank you for the nice one, Living Grace. Hey, for the nursery, may you and your lovely wife decorate similarly to your American outfit. God bless you all. Thank you, Living Grace. Yeah, we've got a lot of America stuff around here. We've got flags. We've got a bunch of flags. We've got, what do we have? Oh, we've got like eagles and stuff like that. We got a lot of America going on here, you know, because we love this country so dang much. Hey, Living Grace, thank you. Good to see you. Hey, Max Mimi, what's going on, Max? Thank you for the dono, or thank you for becoming a supporter, Max. Next week, we'll get back on regular schedule with, you know, everything. It's kind of been like a holiday week. We've had events and balls and other things to go to. So thank you, Max Mimi, for becoming a member. We'll see you on the next one. Living Grace says, the leftist has taken us out of the fact that we're a Christian nation. 100% true. That used to be a big component of our education. Religion was literally a part of education. The Bible was a part of the education. Then they stripped all of that out when we started to get governed by the experts who said, you don't need any of that stuff. We should, you know, be in reason, in fact, and get rid of all of those other things. But at the outset of American education, it was about religion, morality, and then knowledge. Those were the three main components. I've learned that recently. Because what good is knowledge if you have no morality? How do you have morality without a religion? How do you have a cohesive people if everybody believes something differently? And everybody, like, it's freedom of religion, yeah, but kind of to a certain extent, right? You look at the founding nation, the founding of America, like, you're free to believe, but the country had a cultural fabric where I think 11 of the 13 colonies, like, you had to be a Christian to run for office. We had literal religious tests. They were part of American history. And it was to continue to cultivate a moral and religious people. Otherwise, the republic cannot serve a people who are not of that cut and cloth. So they call us the West like it's a marker on a compass. Great line, Living Grace. Yeah, great line. Yeah, like it's just meaningless. It's America because you got a piece of paper. Yeah, it's really offensive. Thank you, Voice. Hey, thanks for the raid the other day. I didn't see it come through. Hey, man, happy to do that, Voice. Hopefully you had a great stream. Yeah, that's basically me right now, which I was laughing at that. Rex Kwon Do. Break the wrist. The other way. No, the other way. Other hand. Other way. Do you think anybody wants a roundhouse kick to the face while I'm wearing these bad boys? No, sir, Rex. You look amazing. You look amazing. It's basically how I feel right now, except I'm not going to roundhouse anybody. Hey, Rob, does that refer to CCP members and businesses versus general citizens? If it's all of them, then all naturalized Chinese citizens could be denaturalized. Yeah, I mean, I think if they lied on their form, if they committed fraud, if you find a Chinese national who came in and is now a citizen, and you say, hey, were you ever a member of a communist anything? And they say no, even though that they were a bona fide member of the CCP, whether like an active member or not, if they were a member and they lied about it, that's fraud. That's immigration fraud. And we shouldn't tolerate that, just like we don't tolerate mortgage fraud. Like, why should we prosecute Letitia James for lying about a primary residence on 2 competing mortgages, but not an immigrant, so-called, who lies on his immigration form? They're both lies. They're both material lies. They impact our final decision-making and what they get as a benefit. So all of it should count. Hey, do one thing good today. Great advice in the name. First, I wish all patriots a wonderful 4th of July. I think it is important for us to be teaching unbiased history and the U.S. Constitution to our children. Many don't understand it or are learning it. Yeah, it is true. And I mean, when I was coming up, history was one of my favorite classes. I took a lot of history. I was a political science undergrad before I went to law school. So I brought myself to it, and I still have only scratched the surface, even though I've done a lot of political philosophy and all sorts of stuff like that in my early years. Still just scratched the surface. Now, my understanding is that many kids come out, they can't even name the 3 branches of government. They don't know how anything works. You ask them certain questions about American civics, they have no idea what the hell's going on. So how can you keep a cohesive country if people don't even understand the dynamics of the country that are governing them? Are they free, or is, ignorance is a form of slavery? They're just kind of, everybody's becoming ignorant, which is why they just turn over to the most convenient demagogue that exists that promises them a bunch of free crap, like a communist called Mamdani. Second, and probably most importantly, we need to hold our representatives and senators to account. If they fail to act as we elected them to do, they need to be primaried. They serve us, the people who elected them. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Do one good thing today. I'm with you. And I don't, I really don't like the perpetual legislative class. I think that they've gotten way too comfortable. There's like a 90% reelection rate for all of these people. And they delegate all of their constitutional responsibilities over to independent agencies. They fail to act to check the judiciary. It's a constitutional mandate. These people almost have no understanding themselves about what their role is and what they should be fighting for. Instead, we get them, especially on the right, like agreeing with Liz Warren on a housing bill. Like, this is going to be our big deliverable for the American people. You could increase the supply of housing by deporting 10 million people, but they don't. Then they come out. Mike Lawler says we can't get rid of the Haitians. We need TPS forever, indefinitely. So I'm with you, man. I'm happy to see people getting primaried. Got no loyalty to Congress people who have no loyalty to us. They want to just get in there and spin the wheels for, 8 terms and not deliver anything useful. They should go. Lori Pipkin, bring back the Pledge of Allegiance. Is that not happening in schools? In schools, government meetings, and everywhere else Americans collect, I would bet most young people don't even know the Pledge of Allegiance to America. I would suspect that's true. Yeah, I remember saying it as a boy, but like, when did you stop doing that? Was it like out of like middle school? Yeah. And teaching about America, right? Giving perspective, explaining why America is great and articulating it. Don't have to brainwash people into it, but you can just communicate the ideas about free speech and natural rights that come from God and articulate why this system is better than you getting your rights from some other corrupt government, which is how most other entities and nation states are actually organized. Rob, hey, attacking our children is doing it to our posterity. Yeah, we have to care for and win the children, which is why we can't have anti-American crap at our monuments. Got to get rid of it. Hey, Rob, thanks for being here for 31 months. Jim, combat vet. Our own uniparty Congress is our most dangerous enemy. Every one of the uniparty was placed by election fraud. I think that's a pretty reasonable conclusion on that, Jim. If you ask yourself, why is the Republican Party so opposed to any substantive electoral reform? Because, in my opinion, the current electoral system got them into power. So they know how to maneuver it. They know how to win the game according to the current rules. You change the rules of the game, now that's a threat to their future power. So they don't want to change the rules. We want the rules to conform to actual election integrity, but they don't. We know why the Democrats don't. They flip out. You ask for a list in any blue state, everyone sues. Everybody comes crashing in there to prevent that from happening. No oversight at all because the lists serve them. So then you go to the Republicans, hey, you guys have power right now. Do you think you could do something about this? They say, no, we don't have the votes. We just have to work on Liz Warren's bill. Why? Because they're beneficiaries of the current system. They don't want to change anything lest it impede their power. NY Renal, what's up? The doctor's here. Mamdani ironically started his career as a representative to the Greek American area of Queens, where I was born. If nothing in America is fixed into place, it will make it easier to deport and denaturalize you. I pledge before my last breath that I will support anyone who agrees with sending you back to Uganda. Yeah, that's the thing. Like Ilhan and Mehdi Hassan, and they're such cowards too, to be honest with you. Like Ilhan Omar, let me see if I can find this, but Ilhan, she makes these she posted some crap video today. Let me see if I can find it. We don't need to watch it, and then she turns off the comments. Like they all turn off their comments. She says, yeah, nobody can comment. Yeah. Hi, proud to be an American. You got here 5 minutes ago. True patriotism is defending the Constitution, protecting our democracy. It's a republic. It's not a democratocracy, and striving for liberty and justice for all. So just regurgitating critical phrases that are ensconced in American philosophy and just like slopping them back to us to LARP as an American. Our country has never been perfect, but its promise is worth protecting. Happy 4th of July. And then no comments, turns the comments off because she knows everybody's going to say exactly what I did. Okay, just stop. What's the phrase they use? It's like commandeering, stop appropriating our constitutional language. NY, Mamdani, thank you for that. And Mehdi Hassan said something very similar. Sandra, this is exactly why Trump wanted Muslims banned. And I think not all Muslims, right? He wanted certain countries. He knew exactly what would happen if they got a foothold. Yeah, and this is the point that I was making earlier, Sandra. Thank you for the comment. It's that the left wants everybody to fight amongst various groups. But eventually, those groups will turn on you because we have this victim Olympics that's going on. The party has to promise everybody, oh, you're a victim. Oh, you're a victim. Oh, you're a victim. And then eventually the actual disparities become minimized. Everybody starts to realize, oh, well, they're just all inflating our dollar. Doesn't matter what color you are, what gender you are, what trans you are, doesn't matter. All of our dollars are being inflated. All of our jobs are being siphoned off by foreigners. All of our housing costs are going up because there's no supply of housing, right? So on and so forth. But then they want to, pit everybody against each other. At the current moment, they're bundling up all these people and they're pitting them against essentially white Christians on the other half. But eventually those groups will realize they don't have all that much in common. And that maybe they're actually being harmed from inside the bubble, and then they'll turn on each other, which is literally what we saw in New York. Dan Goldman, one of the biggest, most prolific leftists, just got crushed because he was no longer useful to the Democratic Party. They turned on him like he was a bag of dirt. Gone. And it's going to continue to happen. But there are Democrats like Dan Goldman who are placating that wing of their party. And then they wake up, they go, holy crap, I'm done. I just got thrown out of Congress. Yeah, that's what you get. You're playing with fire over there, and they're going to turn on you and they're going to eliminate you. So wake up. If you're a Democrat, wake up. They're coming for you too. You may not think so, but eventually they will. because that's what they stand for. It's victim Olympics. They have to jump over each other, and eventually they're going to have to beat you too. Baby Lewis, hey, loved President Trump's speech last night. Awesome addressing communism. He's got some balls. Mamdani shut down Times Square and we couldn't even see the ball drop because there weren't any people there, and they didn't want to show no public people because he closed it to the public. Yeah, we watched the ball drop and it looked empty. And a friend of ours who's in town said, yeah, I noticed that they didn't even put like 250. They used the 2026 sign, and a lot of the light bulbs on the sign were all burnt out, which is a good metaphor for New York City. And why Mamdani's family was also super rich. He lied on the form and he went to Bronx Science for free. Yeah. And then he's going to talk about like blood, sweat, and tears of building this country. It's like, bro, you just got here from Uganda. You didn't build anything. So don't lecture us about what our country has done. How is it? What amazes me is people running away from socialism and communism now voting for what they ran away from. It is like a mental disorder. It's the weirdest thing to see. And you have concern about that, like people leaving California, like this place is a dump. They go to Texas, they vote blue. Like, are you out of your friggin' minds? What's wrong with you people? But I think in some ways it's brainwashing. You know, they're so locked into this ideology that they'll even vote against their own interest. It's the craziest thing you've ever seen. So we got to wake them up, man. Rub some dirt on it. Hey, happy birthday, America. Shout out, rub some dirt on it. And happy birthday to Mama G. Man, thank you, rub some dirt on it, AKA Whirlpool Galaxy. It is a beautiful birthday. Hey, Winning Reality, what's up? Good to see you. Cultural Marxism, ideological subversion is a generational attack. Yeah. It's been going on our whole lives. If we don't stop it at the root for generations, it will just keep growing. 100% agree with that. Karl Marx talks about it. The communists talk about the slow march through the institutions. Like it takes a very long time. And it's been incubating here forever, right? You start with college professors. College professors start to indoctrinate the kids. The kids then go to the law schools, and the kids graduate from law school, they become lawyers. Then they're communist lawyers. Then they go into the state bars. Then at the state bar, they have a regulatory function. And so then they're communists there. And then they go after people who question the vaccine or who defend their clients on J6. Or then they go become federal judges after that. So they, work up their way to a federal judge now. Lifetime appointment. You've got a communist. But that takes generations to go from a student into a federal judge. It takes 50, 60 years. And they're doing it. And now it's emerging. It's bubbling out. Now you're starting to see. And there is a siren song of communism. Like if you look into it and you read it, you can see why it's attractive. If you are not educated about the damaging effects of it, it can be very attractive. It's like, oh, fairness and, equality, and everybody will have everything they need, and it's not going to have to work so hard, and we're all being exploited by somebody. It paints this big enemy. And so you can identify like a bad group and go attack that group and make them an out group and bound together. It gives you purpose and meaning and cause. If you don't have a religion, you don't have Christ, you can't actually form an in-group with anybody. So you become it's very, persuasive to certain groups of people. And they just incubate it over the years, and they pass it down through multiple generations, and we got to deal with it, man. It's a real thing. So it's not like a passing fad either. It's been going on for 200 years. So we got to work on it, and we are. So, hey, thank you for the comment. Good comment. Thank you, Winning Reality. Do one thing good today. We also need to secure our elections to make sure only citizens can vote. We need to end birthright citizenship. Supreme Court really screwed us on that one. Also, we should do away with dual citizenship. You cannot be allegiant to two countries. Couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. It's like a man with two wives. I think even somebody said that in a Supreme Court decision or somewhere. We just read it recently. You're loyal to two causes. It's a man, with two masters. You're being pulled two different directions. Pick one. If you don't want it to be America, that's fine. It's great. Go home to your home country. Go wave your foreign flags back over there. Fight for your homeland. Great. It's great. But we don't need you here. And we've got literal federal judges like Sparkle Suknanan, who is a bona fide dual citizen. And then she issues certain rulings lecturing us about our Constitution and hands down decisions that seemingly favor people from her home country, which is very convenient. Thank you, Do One Thing. Hey, Jim Combat Vet. Clinton passed the laws allowing foreigners to hold elected office and be judges over us. Our own traitorous leaders are our greatest enemy. Yeah. Yeah, and I think they're happy to have America change and really kind of be cut down to size. There are globalist interests that want America to be like, you think about it like standardization. Okay, the globe will be easier to manage if everything is standardized. And if you have nation states that are not standard and they're not playing the game and they're not interfacing with the UN and the climate change or whatever, then you've got something that is not like the others. One of these things is not like the others. One of these things just doesn't belong here. So there are massive global interests to standardize every nation state, and they want America to become that, which is why when you water down the population and it really has no nationality, it has no civic identity, then you can make it into everything else, which is happening in Europe, as we see. Only certain nations are preserving, their integrity via force and via real strong aggression. And, our nation, I think, should, as a people, should spend more time actually on preserving our integrity as well. Rob, in the recent Supreme Court case striking down Trump's EO on birthright, Kavanaugh concurred that the EO violated federal statute rather than the Constitution itself. Yeah, he did. And so that is the distinction between the 6-3 holding and the 5-4 holding. So Kavanaugh, his decision was, it was a statutory decision, not a constitutional decision. The problem for us is the 5 were still on the constitutional justification for birth by soil citizenship. So you got Amy Coney Barrett, John Roberts, and the 3 leftists. So that's 5. They say that the 14th Amendment does, in fact, guarantee citizenship by birth via soil, not via allegiance, as Alito said, not via domicile, as Clarence Thomas said. So Kavanaugh, if what would have been amazing, Amy Coney Barrett could have totally redeemed herself and joined with Kavanaugh, and then and we would have had more of a plurality decision. And the holding could have been that Trump's EO was invalid, but it would have been only 4 on the constitutional issue, with 2 on the statutory issue, which means we then could have passed the statute and then brought that back up to the Supreme Court. But she didn't do that. John Roberts probably pulled her over, and I'm still very upset about it. Thank you, Rob. Point is, there's very little. I mean, Congress can try to pass some laws and some statutes. I hope they do. But I think it would go back up to the current Supreme Court under the makeup here. And they would just say, you're in violation of the Constitution. We just ruled that the Constitution says it's constitutional. Lori Pipkin, we also need a bigger fine, jail time, to be given to people who deface and destroy monuments. Yeah, Lori, yesterday we talked about the guy who got charged with the felony for the reflecting pool, David Hearn, who's represented by Norm Eisen. So felony charge got handed down on that one, and he's being prosecuted. So we'll see what happens on that. But yeah, we should respect our institutions. Yeah, Jim Combat Vet. Before 1965, 99% of our immigrants were Christians from Europe. That made America great. But then our own traitorous Congress changed that, which Congress did. Yeah, and you have a lot less in common with people who don't have the European ancestry, don't have the Christian morality. And I'm not, if you're going to have a society where people are assimilating into the values of the nation, that's a process that happens much more easily if they're similar values. If they're very far different, and they come here and they don't assimilate, then slowly but surely you fracture your own society. It's like the most suicidal thing you've ever seen. But that's what they've done to us. And if you challenge that, then we've been browbeaten for being racist or bigots or xenophobes for my entire life. Dark Rogue, hey, happy 4th, Rob. Been working nights 6 days a week, so I'm asleep during your shows, man. Working hard. That's great. Amazing. Still here, still supporting the channel. Thank you, Dark Rogue, man. That means a lot. Here's cheers to another 250 years. Cheers to you, Dark Rogue. 6 nights a week, man. That's a lot. Hopefully you're crushing it. We have these seasons where we grind. It's always worth it on the other end. So Dark Rogue, keep going, my man. Happy to see you. Hopefully you're enjoying the 4th. Happy Independence Day. And thanks for the nice super chat. Hey, Jim, our own uniparty, Congress is the most dangerous enemy. Every one of the uniparty was placed by election fraud, subversion, and covert means, according to JFK, or even JFK. Yeah, I mean, I think that they're a lot less free than they let out to be. They are serving interests, serving the party powers, serving Mike Johnson, serving John Thune, more so, not all of them, than they are their actual representative, their constituents. Thank you, Jim. Rob, 8 U.S. Code 1401 from the INA, Immigration and Nationality Act. This is the statutory provision implementing birthright citizenship, which is just solely, which is birth by soil. Yeah, so I think you're saying that they could just change that. I think what the Supreme Court would say is that is an implementation of the 14th Amendment, which guarantees birthright by soil. So if they made that, if they changed 1401 and they changed jus soli into jus sanguinis, which is birth by blood, so you have a parent or somebody who's a citizen that passes their citizenship through blood, then I think they would say that is unconstitutional as against the 14th, because Kavanaugh did not have a majority position, but he was more right than everyone else in the majority. Dark Rogue, hey, thank you, Dark Rogue. 50 new membos coming in? Man, thank you for doing that, Dark Rogue. We got 50 new membos. Man, amazing. Thank you, Dark Rogue, for bringing a bunch of new friends in. Also says, I'm still standing. Yeah. Something song. Don't think I know that one. But it sounds amazing. Dark Rogue, you rock. Thank you for bringing in new membos. Thank you for being here 13 months. And keep up the good work out there. Jim, combat vet. Hey, 40% of New York City is foreign born. Should they have a say in our government? Definitely not if they're not citizens. And if they're lying naturalized citizens who committed fraud, definitely not. Originally, only land and property owners could vote. Because they had a vested interest. Well, it's called, having skin in the game, right? This is a concern about the tyranny of the majority. The majority will just vote themselves things at the expense of the minority. And you can have an environment where people just vote themselves a raise. Oh yeah, no, we need this benefit. We need this benefit, this benefit. Where's it coming from? I don't know, the billionaires. How about the oligarchs? The corporations. Where's the money coming from? So they just keep voting for more benefits for them. And there's really no rhyme or reason to it, which is why, if you have actual, like, do you pay taxes? Like, maybe it's just not property owners, but what if you just pay taxes? Like, are you putting into the system more than you're taking out? And if you're putting more in, then maybe you should have more of a say than the person who's only taking out. Because the person only taking out they have no consequences. Whatever they vote, however they, whatever happens, as long as they're getting something and they're not contributing, there's no downside to voting themselves more of a raise. They don't actually have any skin in the game. Hey, Ashley's Cottage, unfortunately, I think the changes need to include a polygraph. Yeah. Are you a communist? 3 polygraphs and an interrogation expert. And Jack Bauer sitting in the next room, just to be sure, Thank you, Ashley's Cottage. Yeah, because they just lie. They come in. Oh, I love America. Yeah, they come here and you ask them a question, man on the street, they say, actually, I love Hyderabad, India. Okay, then why are you here? Hey, Sean of Thyme, it's more than self-gratification for them with the changes they want. If the vast majority are proud to be an American, then the mood is positive. If it's positive, then you can't have a communist revolt. 100% true. Yeah, which is why they need to kind of destroy the institutions, that especially the ones that are working. Everything needs to get worse so that they can come up with a solution. And they need an out group to blame for all of the problems so that they can then revolt and revolution against that group. And then all of that group goes to the gulags, just like China did, just like the Russians did, the Soviets did. So it's exactly right. If you have a positive love of America, then you don't want the system to change. If you hate America, then you don't really care if the system changes. And why elections have consequences. If those groups want to record history, write a book and give them out for free at the monuments. Otherwise, Trump has the right to change what is there. Yeah, the people elected him. He's accountable to the people. No one elected the federal judge. She just says, you're eliminating the heritage of my people. And so I'm not going to let you do that. Okay, well, then you should run for president, lady. Otherwise, you have to follow the laws. And you're not doing that. You're just substituting your judgment for the president's. So no. Lori Pipkin, hey, Daniel Cook, no non-American born to hold any office. I'm with that. Yeah, I think natural born requirements all across the board. Judges, Congress people, secretaries, Republicans, representatives, senators, any position of power, natural born requirement. Good enough for the presidency, should be good enough for the federal judges. Says all those tweets should be looked at by everyone so we can vote with open eyes. I call BS on these people erasing their sites before they run for office. Yeah, no, it's true. A history of making arguments. Many of those arguments they know would be disgusting to huge swaths of America, so they hide their past, subvert their way into the institutions, LARPing as like good old Americans who are like immigrants, and we know we really do love this country. Don't treat us differently. Don't think of us differently. We get in, then suddenly the Constitution is terrible and capitalism sucks. Got it. Thank you, Lori. And yeah, Daniel Cook is the reference there. Hey, Soldier of Providence, man. Good to see you, Soldier. Says, hey, salute. Hey, thank you for being here and doing what you do. It means a lot to more people than you might realize. Man, Soldier of Providence with the 1776 dono. Thank you for saying that, my man. It's an honor to be here with you. Thank you for joining us today. We love this country so much. And so we're going to continue to create energy around our causes and continue to bring people together to create a community, to create some energy, to create some strength. And I know you're doing the same on that. So Soldier, thank you so much. Also brought in 10 new membos. Thank you, Soldier of Providence. Bringing in Jaybird, Adam Franklin, Tom David, Jeffrey Stone Seifer in the house, Texas Gamma, Backyard Explanations, what's up? Nate's Memes. We got Gary Babcock and Musu Kinjana in the house. Courtesy of Soldier of Providence, man. Thank you for bringing in 10 new membo friends. We got Do One Good Thing today. I wonder how helpful America would be in the world if it wasn't a capitalist country any longer. It would be a disaster. That entire list of things that Trump said that we invented, that comes from creating an environment that fosters innovation. And yes, there's a profit incentive to do these things. If you take that away, you turn into Europe, where what are they doing over there other than just regulating? Like, what's the best European social media company? I don't know. None. What's the best European AI company? Mistral, that nobody uses or ever heard of? What is it? What are their biggest tech companies that build phones and devices? There isn't one. So, they just regulate themselves into oblivion and lecture everybody else around the world about why you also need to import foreigners. Hey, Just Rhonda, man, I'm overwhelmed today. I love my country. Me too, Just Rhonda. I feel you there. I love it, man. It's so good. 27 months as a membo. That's 3 babies. Thank you, Just Rhonda, purveyor of fine emojis, who helps out with all of the emojis around here. Thank you, Just Rhonda. We've got, hey, Do One Good Thing today. 10 months as a membo. Do one good thing. Happy 4th of July, everyone. Fireworks, America, and more. Fireworks indeed. Hopefully everybody's going to get out to catch the shows and the celebration of America. Hey, Rubos. Yeah, the Europeans are stealing our stuff from our tech companies, threatening Elon. We're going to ban you and we're going to fine you and all this crap. What are they doing? Build your own. Oh, you can't. Hey, Rubos, have a blessed Rubos at rubossaltshop.com. Amazing. Have a blessed 250th Independence Day and weekend. Happy birthday to Mama G, man. Thank you from the Rubos. You guys are amazing. They have the best salt you've ever had in your whole life. And Sassy Gemini, what's up? AKA Just Rhonda, Baby Rob, and Baby Alexis. Yeah. Man, that's funny. Alexis looks pretty good. I have the widow's peak right there. See that? Still there. Even as a baby. Amazing. Thank you for that, Sassy Gemini. I was pretty chunky too. I had a lot more fat rolls on me. Hey, Sean of Thyme, home birth, broken fingers incoming. That's a curious comment there, Sean of Thyme, because you're like playing the guitar or something. Are you hammering with a hammer and nails? I hope that all of our fingers are good. Our fingers and baby's fingers too. But thank you, Sean of Thyme, for the dono. We got Rubos, my first home birth, so I don't know. I don't get it. Rubos, God bless you, Alexis. Prayers for a blissful, easy, safe, blessed, and loving delivery of baby G on July 20th. Coming soon, man. It's coming really soon. Hey, thank you, Rubos. The best prayers, so we're looking forward to that. We got Sharpie Guy, Robin Alexis. It's a boy. After 4 times, I can definitely tell you it is a boy. Girls ride low and beat the heck out of mom, and boys ride high. Congratulations, y'all, and happy 4th, everybody. That's hilarious, Sharpie Guy. We have no idea. We don't know what it's going to be. Not even trying to think too hard about it. I'm going to be thrilled either way. I know Alexis will be too. We just want a healthy baby and a healthy mama. Whatever God delivers to us, we'll be thrilled. But it's funny because other people have similar certainty, but for like different reasons. Oh, it's definitely a girl because a bird landed on the fence over there at 8:05. So it's definitely a girl because that's how it works. I'm like, what the heck? Where'd that come from? But it's funny, you know, that, and I think I've heard that one, Sharpie Guy. So either way, we're going to be thrilled. But Sharpie Guy's got the vote in for a boy. We'll find out soon, very soon. Commander Wilson, you know, it's okay to actually show emotion. I agree with that. I feel like we get pretty fired up here, which I would consider emotion. You know, righteous outrage a little bit, I think here. Was I too stoic today? Was I just like, deport them all? No. I feel like we got fired up, but thank you, Commander Wilson, for the confirmation. We should be emotional about these things, right? It's actually a big deal. It's not like just like a mechanical thing like, oh, well, country's going to get invaded and everybody here is a citizen now. Oh, okay. What else is on TV? Ridiculous. Hey, Just John Doe. Do you have a P.O. box for baby gifts? We do, Just John Doe. Yeah, we do. We've got some links. And we've got a baby shower that we're doing virtually that we'd love to invite you to. So we'll be happy to share those. Yeah, we're going to do that on the 18th, a virtual baby shower. If you care to join, we'll definitely get those links over. And it's the best way to do that. But yeah, we do have them. I don't think I can pin a comment. I can put them in the description. Oh, I think I know where they are. If you go into the description and you click all links, they're in there, pretty sure. So if you go into the description, there's a box that says all links, or there's a link that says all links. They're all in there, pretty sure. The virtual shower registration form. Yep, and the registries are all on there. We got a baby registry and more. So yeah, so check it out. The all links link in the description will take you to a list of links. That's where they are. Thank you, Just John Doe. Man, thank you for even thinking about sending us something. That's amazing. We appreciate you. Hey, what's up, PsyOp Receipts? Good to see you, PsyOp Receipts. Thanks for being a membo and bringing in 5 new membos in the house. We got Gina, hey, what's up? Gina, thanks for saying thanks. Christy, good to see you. Daniel Nordine, we got Chasing Zero, Rhodey the Bulldog, and Tenebra. All gifted membos, courtesy of PsyOp Receipts. We're in a lot of those PsyOps. Good to have receipts for those things. Hey, do one thing good today, man. Thank you for the Shibu Inu puppy in the house. And do one good thing. Thanks for all the donos today, man. We appreciate you. Dan, what without the blowhards of Obama, O'Biden, and Hairless not adding to the heat bloom? Regarding DC, it is hot. Like, it's wild hot. And I say that as an Arizona boy. who knows what hot is, but you add in humidity. They said it's like 115, like a heat dome. Crazy. PsyOp receipts. Hey, happy Independence Day, everyone. Thank you, PsyOp. We appreciate that. Happy Independence Day to you, my friend. It's a beautiful day. Hey, you know what else can make your 4th even better? King of Biltong, baby. BiltongUSA.com. You can use code Robert, save 10% off. It's fuel for your day. Dried sausage, clean ingredients, serious protein, road trips, work, snack time, and more. From our friend King of Biltong at Biltong USA. Not Biltong, China. Okay. It's American. Hey, his name is Robert Paulson. Let's see these socks. I would show them to you, but I think there's a live stream or faux pas when you put your heels up on the camera. You just can't do that. You know, like if I was to like lift my leg up and show you my sock, that would be a weird position to be in. So you'll have to take my word for it, but they're pretty cool. Thank you. His name is Robert Paulson. Hey, Jedi Trump, make room for Trump on Mount Rushmore. What's up? 8 months as a membo. Jedi Trump, great to have you. Yeah, there's already room. We saw it. The hair is already mostly done. Mother Nature wanted it to happen, so that's why they started the work for us. Thank you for that, Jedi Trump. Hey, King of Biltong. Also, check out our Rumble channel for all things do-it-yourself. We got Biltong, history, live chat, amazing. We got 9 a.m. Eastern time, 8 a.m. Rustic Ranch. Check it out, Rumble, Rustic Ranch. Man, amazing. Biltong channel, amazing. Hey, Sandra, what's going on? PragerU has some excellent videos on U.S. history. Yeah, there's a lot out there. I don't think I've watched those, but thank you for the recommendation, Sandra. Yeah, I mean, there's some people who've really put a lot of time into this. It's not that hard to share the topics, share the history. Like the content is there. The history is there. It's just they don't want anybody to see it. So I'm like, well, let me just tell you about the patriarchy. Okay, PsyOp, hey, this commie attack is on Antonio Gramsci's model that says you have to destroy culture first to make the revolution stick. It needs to be understood. That's interesting. I haven't heard of that guy, but that makes sense to me. Yeah, it needs to be a multi-pronged attack. Like if you have a culture of American-loving patriots and you have a communist takeover of the top, we're not going to stand for that crap, obviously. So you've got to, diminish the people. You have to make them sick. You have to make them dumb and uneducated. You have to distract them, make them fearful so that they look to an authority. There's all these different ways that you can just diminish a population. You have to pit them against each other, makes them fight amongst themselves. Identify all the tiny little degrees of differences to make them war with each other. And then they're all going to be ripe for the taking because they'll be neutered, they'll be demotivated, and they'll just stand by while everything goes to hell. Hey, chat with me. Look up Red Skelton's Pledge of Allegiance and the explanation. Also, Robin Williams flag on YouTube. I post both of these on Facebook every 4th. The Robin Williams skit came from Norman Lear's early 80s TV special, which brought together the furthest liberals and the most diehard conservatives just to show a patriotic whole nation. Man, great recommendation, chat with me. So Red Skelton and Robin Williams flag from Norman Lear. Interesting. Yeah, and the Democratic Party used to not be as insane. Like, remember when Dennis Kucinich was running? And like the idea was free speech. And he had some similar concepts of like questioning the government and like no foreign wars and like similar things. And now the Democratic Party is like completely off the rail. Like, what the hell happened to them? And he was seen as an outsider even back then, but they've gone nuts. Smart Cookies. Hey, Rob, Mayar Tosi of Tusi TV needs a lawyer. Oh, I know Tusi TV. What kind of lawyer does he need? Hopefully not a criminal defense lawyer, which is what I am. Tusi is trying to move to America, but because he was born in Iran, they're holding him up. Can you reach out to him? The guy is MAGA all the way. Yeah, I don't know him personally. I don't know if he'll, hear from me, but I do know some good immigration lawyers. Yeah, and some really bad ones too. But yeah, I mean, Yeah, that's interesting. Smart cookie. Yeah, let me see if he's commented about that on X. And if you, I mean, yeah, there might be a better lawyer for him than me as a referral source, but of course, I'm happy to help, man. We love to see what we can do to help our MAGA fam. Hey, and thank you for flagging that for me, Smart Cookie. I'll make sure I'm checking his X. No holy cows. Hey, 10 months as a membo. No holy cows. Hello, my beautiful friends. Happy 250th years. Happy 250 years. Happy Independence Day to you, no holy cows. Thanks for being here for 10 months. That's a baby and then some. Beautiful times together. Donnie Po-Twin. Hey, Rob, my guess will be your baby will come on the 24th, which is Utah's Pioneer Day. Hope you get the 250th Social Security card. I think we will. If the baby's not here by December 31st, we've got some real problems. So should be right in the wheelhouse. So we're excited about that. And so you marked it down the 24th. All right, I'm not going to tell Alexis. So 20th is still, but 24th, that may be more likely. It might, might be a little bit even after that. We'll see. Thank you, Donnie. But Utah's Pioneer Day sounds like a pretty good day. We support our pioneers and Utah. Chat with me, Rob. Everything doesn't need to get worse. It just needs to be presented as being worse. And those are two very different things. Very true. Yeah, shadows on the wall, right? Don't even have to have reality, just shadows on the wall. I believe Trump and FIFA has done more to change the message of negativity. And if not, stop at least pause the negative in some minds. Yeah, and that's an interesting comment, chat with me. I was thinking about that too with DC. So, for example, in DC, very leftist city, okay? Very blue, like 94% voted for Kamala Harris. Everybody that I talk to says the city is dramatically better in terms of like homeless encampments. I talked, like 4 years ago, people were walking around, they're showing me, yeah, this whole area used to be homeless encampments, the whole area. Tents, generators, TVs. Somebody was telling me he walked by these homeless tents. They're listening to NPR via generators inside the homeless tents everywhere. Like a disaster. No fountains working, everything's stale and stagnant, nothing actually progressing. Trump comes in, changes that. To me, I got to think that in at least even the most TDS-minded people, that shakes something loose a little bit. Like, don't you understand how much safer it is? There's National Guard all over the place, no homeless people. People were telling me like they would have to like run from building to building if it was at night because they were going to get attacked. So like, how does that not jar some of the TDS loose a little bit, right? And you just got to keep chalking up wins. You have to keep delivering goals. Man, thank you for that. Chat with me. Hey, Sergeant RP Games, man, hoping for an early baby, 7-Eleven. Love you, Rob. That might be a little too early. So maybe not that early, but the thing needs to still keep cooking a little bit. But thank you, Sergeant RP Games. Man, that's like soon, man. I got to keep cooking too. 7-Eleven is a little too soon, I think, but 7-Eleven's pretty good. Lucky number 7-Eleven, Unless you want to crap out in Vegas after the roll. Hey, what's up? Hey, K-Bean, you're amazing. Yeah, well, K-Bean, thank you. Rob, I had to try to explain to my mom why I mod for you and why it's so important, the message you're sending out. Man, K-Bean, thank you for that. Shout out to your mother. You hear the po-po outside? Well, thank you, K-Bean. You've been a real huge part of what we're doing and getting the message out. And, I really don't think of it as much as like me getting the message out. I think of it as a community that we're building that has a symbiotic, complementary relationship where I get energy from you. We are able to process information and then refine that information. I learn a lot from you. I learned, different opinions and different perspectives. And then we share our thoughts, and then it's a process that goes on. So it would be absolutely impossible to do that without you. And K-Bean, you've been around forever, and you have been such a helpful and influential part of everything that we're doing here. So thank you for being a mod extraordinaire in our community. And shout out to your mother. But it's important, you know, I think to find some way to contribute, you know, it doesn't have to be here, but it's to get into the conversation in some way, shape, or form, because if you're not in the conversation, then you're ceding that territory to other people who are happy to take it. And they'll take it and they'll pervert it in a way that is not in our interest. So, K-Bean, we're so grateful for you and for all of your help. And shout out to your mother. Hopefully she understands. And maybe she'll watch a show. Hopefully your boy's not too off-putting. Shout out to Mama K-Bean. K-Bean, thank you. You're amazing. Sharpie guy. Hey, by the way, Alexis is radiant and radiating beauty, Rob. It's true. You're a fortunate man, and she knows that. I'm sure she does. I know that well. She is amazing. I got a beautiful wife, and she's just been a real champion this entire pregnancy, and we're getting everything in order. She's taking the lead on making sure this baby's going to have everything the baby needs as soon as this little creature comes out. So we're feeling very blessed. Thank you, Sharpie guy. I am a lucky man. And Holy F says for 41 months, happy Independence Day. Oh, man, Holy F, that's a long time, my friend. Thanks for being here so long. Great to have you. Happy Independence Day, all. Trump, America, Eagle. Sharpie guy, oh, yeah, and 10 fingers and 10 toes and everything else will take care of itself. Exactly. Yeah, exactly right. Healthy baby, healthy mama. Your boy will have a happy father. It's all we need, all I'm looking for. And it's going to be great. Hey, I'm P Pickin' Cute. Hey, had problems stemming from that emergency the other day. Just tuned in. I hate when I miss the show. I told you we're the bomb. Had to tell you I love the new look. Me too. I feel so good right now. How does Alexis look? Amazing. She just joined us. Can't wait to see BB Generic, the new baby Generic, because since we don't know the sex yet. I know you can't either, or Mama Gouveia, her first, right? Yep. It's a girl. Team Joey here. Joey wants a girl for sure. She'll be born on my mom's birthday. Try the pendulum thing. My mom swore by it. You mean the pendulum to help you kind of see where your subconscious is leaning? Alexis knows that tactic for sure. She definitely does. She's very in tune with that energy. Jonah Finn, hey, take off your wedding ring before you begin the pushing part. Trust me, the ring impression hurts and stays for a while. Oh my gosh. Happy 4th of July. Thank you, Jonah Finn. It's good advice. Yeah, you don't want to lose it, you know. Where'd that go? Sorry, baby. Okay, thank you, Jonah Finn. Great advice. I'll remember that. Hey, I've got a question. Yeah, so if you need, if it's like a legal question, send me an email on ppickincute. Would appreciate it. Love you guys. Did you hear about the new statues these incredible artists are trying to put up that day? They're awesome. I can't remember their names, but I'll get them to you if you can check comments later if you want. Man, thank you on ppickincute. Yeah, if I can help you, send me an email. No problem. Robert@spotlightlawyer.com, and we'll take a look at those and see what's going on. I hope everything's okay over there on ppickincute. But better to do that a little bit offline than, you know, out in the open if it's a legal matter. Hey, we got some other comments over here on X and on Locals. Let's see what else we got cooking here, and then we'll wrap and we'll go celebrate America's Big 250. Hey, Sandra, what a great pick. Hey, he had a lovely time at prom, and happy 4th of July and happy birthday to your mom. Sandra, thank you for saying that. Look at you and your boy. You guys look amazing. Looks like nice weather. He looks sharp as can be. Outstanding. Man, thank you for sharing that, Sandra. You rock. Hey, Barry, good morning, Rob. Happy Saturday and Big 250. I was there at 16 years old for the 200th celebration. How things have changed. You remind me of Karate Kid in your attire today. Man, thank you, Barry. I feel like Karate Kid America. And happy birthday, Mama G from Barry. Thank you, Barry. We got A Jeans. Hey, I wonder how much support Letitia James expects to get now after she openly endorsed Mamdani on camera. Well, didn't she also reject the new DSA candidates? I feel like Letitia is flip-flopped. She doesn't like them challenging her power. A Jeans, every time I hear Aaron Copland, fanfare of the common man, or actually anything from him, or Ferd Groff's Grand Canyon Suite, Or James Earl Jones' recitation of the Declaration of Independence. I am moved to tears because they are so powerful to represent what this country represents. Wear the love of your country, the United States of America, like heaven, from A. Jeans. Yeah, they are profound, deeply spiritual, deeply human documents. And it's almost like the culmination of, thousands of years of humanity's pain and turmoil and oppression and tyranny, all just like rectified into one document, and really two between the two of them. But you can feel the power of it when you read them. They're profound. Walk it off. Hiya. Good to see you. Walk it off. Thanks for saying hello on Locals. And Tweak, hey, happy Independence Day, America. And happy birthday, Mama G, if I'm not mistaken. You're right about that, Tweak. It's my mama's birthday. So we're going to make sure she's doing well. Hey, good to see you, Tweak. Thanks for saying that. His name is Robert Paulson, man. Loving the Ralph Macchio meets Captain America, Rob. Me too. Wishing you and your family a safe and wonderful birthday, 250 birthday, and for this wonderful nation. I'm not sure if they still do this, but when I was a kid, my grandmother took my brother and I to the FBI building in D.C. for a tour. I don't think it's that easy anymore. It was hands down the coolest thing I've ever seen. They cover the history of all the mobsters and the development of the FBI, along with the indoor range demo of some of the firearms, including the Tommy gun. Check it out. Happy 4th. Yeah, hey, Robert Paulson, I did that with my mother when I was a kid. And I do not think that they are doing that anymore. Or if they do, it's like you got to go through like the White House to get permission for a tour or something. A lot more hoops to jump through than I think it used to be. And I'm not even sure what the status of that building is. Like, did they close the building down? I thought Cash was saying something like that. So, yeah, thank you, Robert Paulson. Great recommendation. I got to follow up on that. Hey, Chelly B. Yes, we are a Christian nation. 100% true. Please watch and encourage others. Biblical citizenship at patriotacademy.com. Get real education with historical documents. Also watch Kirk Cameron's documentary called Monumental, In Search of America's National Treasure, 81-foot tall granite structure dedicated in 1889. Fascinating. That is fascinating. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, it's true. And they try to strip it out. Yeah, Tusi has put the problem on YouTube from Sandra. Amazing. All right. Well, thanks for the heads up on that. So he may need a good immigration lawyer, or just like a good like visa lawyer, like somebody to just get him in here, maybe even with the administration. Yeah, interesting. Debbie O, I left at the beginning of your last story, went to 2 stores in the gas station, and you're still going. More power to you, and thank you. Thank you, Debbie O. Yeah, we appreciate that. It's great to be with you. We're going to go celebrate as soon as we're done here. But we wanted to spend some time together with our fam here because we love America. This one. Okay. Yeah, so 7-Eleven is not too early. My son was the one I told you about way back, says I'm pea picking cute, that I saved from an abortion. Amazing. God bless you for that. He was 8 pounds, 10 ounces, massive pain, especially pushing. Was terrified if I quit pushing, I thought he'd get stuck. I was terrified to have another. My daughter slid out 6 pounds like a water slide. Wow. It's a colorful image. Pendulum supposed to tell sex. The pendulum is supposed to tell the sex of the baby. Well, Alexis is not trying to figure it out either. Like if we wanted to know, we would just, say, what is it, doc? But we're waiting for the surprise. So we're looking forward to that. Yeah, I was saying the baby's just going to walk on out of there. It's going to be the world's most perfect and easy birth you've ever seen in your life. Walk right out, take the glasses off, wipe them off and say, that was a hell of a delivery. Put them back on. Hey, MCM, that's a Seinfeld joke. MCM came up from Pennsylvania yesterday to go to the concert with Chicago. It was so beautiful. It was so wonderful. Happy July 4th to all. Happy birthday to Mama G from MCM, 21RN. Amazing. So there was a concert with Chicago. Was that in DC? So you're here in DC? Man, maybe we'll see you out there, MCM. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what we're doing. Like Alexis has another human on her front. So, they get hot very quickly and it's hot. Yeah, and mom used to use a heavy necklace that was a watch about the pendulum. Then she used another one, did it with my sis and all of her pregnant friends. Circle equals girls, diagonal equals boys. Interesting. Interesting. Very curious. Yeah, very curious. All right. And so, friends, let us wrap it up here. And then we'll get out there and get after it. Hey, some comments on X. Man, friends, thank you for sending these in. Jenny D says, OMG, I love the bandana, the headband. Feels good. Henry, haha, funny and nice. What's up? Dame Janet, stay cool. No doubt, everybody. Hey, calm and free. Nice digs, brother. Thank you, man. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like America permeating my veins. Darby Shaw, made my day to turn on the TV and to see you today. Hey, thank you, Darby. Me too, man. It's been a real honor and a lot of fun. Thank you, guys. Happy and safe 4th of July. That is a beautiful image. A really nice one. I love that one. The flag almost as the sunset, or the sunrise, rather, as America. We're just warming up here. Hey, I thought you were a meme at first. You look fantastic. Thank you, Goldie. I feel good. I feel good. Hey, and Mamdani sitting at the Washington desk is a prophetic warning. I know he shouldn't be able to touch that desk. If we don't do something, this communist will become POTUS in time. He's not a natural born citizen, so fortunately we're saved that one until they amend the Constitution. But yeah, your concerns are well taken. Maybe they'll make him something else. Hey, Wendy Patterson, they could put him on the Supreme Court. Ha ha, you look so festive, Rob. ... Festive. Happy 4th birthday, Rob. Happy Independence Day to you, Wendy. Thank you for being here. And Rob said, Grok said this was true. That you could, just change the statutes and not the Constitution? I don't think it's true. Yeah. I mean, Brett, that was his interpretation. Like that was his reasoning. But the majority of the Supreme Court, he was a concurrence. He concurred in the holding. He did not concur in the reasoning. He said that the executive order and really the 14th Amendment was delegating the jurisdiction decision to Congress, but the majority of the Supreme Court, 5 of them did not. They said the 14th Amendment says it's birth by soil. That's it. So I think Grok's got that one wrong. And here, President Trump has officially renamed it Mount Rushmore to Mount Epic Fury. Oh, they got Hegseth on there too? Well, he's not the president yet, maybe one day. Hey, down lane, Alexis looks so cute, man. I can't wait for you to experience everything that goes through the eyes of a child again. It is the greatest awakening any parent goes through. Thank you, Don. We've heard that, we were just talking to somebody about it. This guy was thrilled for us. He's like, oh my gosh, it's going to be so great. You have no idea what's coming. It'll be the best thing ever. I'm like, man, I'm excited. I already was excited. I'm even more excited now. This dude's energy is through the roof. Shell Davis, what's going on? Thank you, Shell. Fire, fire, fire. America, America, America. All amazing. And Neuro D in the house, sharing our locals community at Watching the Watchers. .locals.com. And of course, you can follow us on Rumble, connect with us on YouTube, follow us over here on X. Look how good that looks, man. Amazing. I feel so good right now. All right, so friends, let us pause here on the day. We're going to get out and about and go celebrate America. I hope you're doing the same. Lots of activity going on out there. Trump is not speaking until later tonight. I believe it's not until 9:45, I think, is when he's speaking Eastern time. So 6:45 your time, and then fireworks, the biggest fireworks show in world history tonight in DC. So check that out, and it's going to be a beautiful celebration. We love this country. Thank you for joining us today as we got to have some July 4th fun, some Independence Day fun, and we'll come back here. And yeah, I think we're planning Branca. So I think he wants to go over, there was a Walmart shooting. I think we're planning on that on Monday, maybe noon. I got to follow up with him on that. But yeah, I got to meet Andrew over the weekend or a couple days ago, Andrew Branca. So we're going to do a stream. We're going to talk about another shooting that took place. See if we are in alignment on that or what the analysis looks like. But I think that's coming up on Monday. But we'll pause here. We're going to celebrate extra hard tonight. I hope you're doing the same. Hopefully you're enjoying some time with your friends, your family, the people that we love, pausing to enjoy all the beauty that this country has to offer and why we're so proud to be Americans and to be here. And then, of course, we'll rejuvenate, we'll restore, and we'll return. We'll come back here on Monday to get into it again. I want to thank our tremendous mods and meme smiths. We saw John is here. We got Muffin Rando, Donut Mind Me. We got K Bean in the house, Neuro D, Janek, Dog Digger, Geegum Geegum, Elliot, and just Rhonda, the purveyor of fine emojis. All modding the fort down, keeping things nice and orderly for us. And of course, thank you for being here, my friends. I hope your Independence Day is beautiful. 250th. We only get one of those, and it's a big one. So it's been an honor and a treat and a privilege. The flyover is happening right now. You maybe can't hear that one, but there's going to be a lot of celebrating here tonight. So I hope you enjoy it. Hopefully you are being safe, filled with patriotism and love of country, and we'll come back on Monday to get into it again. But as always, in order to do that appropriately, we are going to need to see you right back here so that together, with your help, we can shine that big, beautiful spotlight of accountability and justice, the hope, accountability and transparency with the hope of finding justice. I was going to try to work something else in there and I screwed the whole thing up. But it's going to be a beautiful weekend. We're going to see you right back here on Monday to get into it again. Until then, happy Independence Day. Happy 4th of July. Make it a great weekend. Make it a beautiful night. And we'll see you back here very, very soon. Until then, be well and bye-bye.
Thanks for watching, my beautiful friends. Now it's that time where the stream must end. You brought the heat with every chat and line. Together we expose corruption. One more time we dove in the truth where the media hides. Lit up the lies with receipts on all sides. The fight isn't over, but we made them sweat. We ain't done yet, no, not just yet. Because together we are watching the watchers. Truth on our side. Watching the watchers. We won't be denied. Watching the watchers. Eyes open wide. Fighting for freedom with nothing to hide. Drop a like and don't forget to share. And bring a friend who's ready to care. Tomorrow's lies are just today's news, but here we see through